He's our LIVERPOol. Watch him defend, and we watch him score. He'll pass the ball, come as you like. He's better than time. He's better than time. He's our LIVERPOol. Watch him defend, and we watch him score. He'll pass the ball, come as you like. He's better than time. He's better than time. Something that the cup wants you to know. Best in the world, they probably know. I know the night. Give him the ball, he was gone every time. Si, senor. Give the ball to Bobby and he will score. There's something that the cup wants you to know. Best in the world, they probably know. I know the night. Give the ball to Bobby on every side. Si, senor. There's something that the cup wants you to know. The best in the world, they probably know. I know the night. Give him the ball, he was on every side. Si, senor. There's something that they can't want you to know. Best in the world, they probably know. No, the night. Give him the ball, he was on every side. Run it down the wing, Mane. Then the club and sing, Mane. We're all going to Madrid. Sadio, Mane. Run it down the wing, Mane. Then the club and sing, Mane. We're all going to Madrid. Sadio, Mane. Run it down the wing, Mane. Then the club and sing, Mane. We're all going to Madrid. Sadio, Mane. Run it down the wing, Mane. Then the club and sing, Mane. We're all going to Madrid. Sadio, Mane. Run it down the wing, Mane. Then the club and sing, Mane. We're all going to Madrid. Sadio, Mane. Run it down.
Oh, go on. Bobby. No, I know what that was. All right, it was Bobby Firmino going through and going. Right, before we take this, and we take it again with the lads, what they're going to explain, we're going to say one thing, right? We're not going to point the finger at any players. We're not going to point the finger at any coach. We're not going to point the finger at the teams themselves. We're not going to point the finger at the jersey, the pitch, or the stadium, anything about the club in general, because that's what Liverpool, United, Arsenal, Chelsea, and Spurs and City are, right? But what we are going to point at is this is all directed at the owners of these clubs and their decisions to do this, right? So. And not consult the fans. So I mean, if the lads want to give their point of view on that, well, we just get that out of the way.
Yeah, I suppose, like I was saying, been supporting Arsenal for a long, long time. I couldn't, like I said last night, today, just couldn't form a thought. It was, like I said to you earlier, like I was jet lagged or something. Like I was telling you, Rocastle's anniversary, 28th anniversary of his death a few weeks ago, a guy that loved the club, that always talked about remember who you're playing for, you know, and always, you know, that you're representing Arsenal no matter where you are. And then you have an owner that comes along behind everyone's back and decides to do this. The same owner that decided he was going to move the Rams in America back to LA, was going to build a huge stadium there, basically move them out of St. Louis. And you just can't trust these guys. And it's a slap in the face to the fans. It's a slap in the face to the history of the club. And it's absolutely sickening. And I also worry, and I know you talk about the competition in a minute, but also the teams coming up, like we were saying earlier, Norwich, great weekend for them, getting promoted. What are they going to think of? Brentford, who over the last few years have done really well in terms of recruiting and selling, and they sell Ollie Watkins, they buy Ivan Toney, who scored almost 30 goals this season. They've built a new stadium. They're looking to get promoted. What happens to them? What happens to the Premier League? And like we said, it just, hopefully it doesn't go ahead. But if it doesn't, all 6 clubs, the one I support included, need to be punished severely so that they don't try to think of it again.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, just to go back on that, absolutely. Like, if it means stripping us of every one of us of titles and starting afresh and saying this is what the league is now going to be, you're going to work your way back up from the start. I have no problem with doing that because I still support Liverpool Football Club because it's a football club I support. It's not Liverpool Limited that I support, right? So it's not FSG that I support. So let's get that out of the way straight away. Anybody who's going to turn around and say they're not going to support their football club in the league is shocking. You mightn't support them in this competition, but you got to support them in the league because you're a football fan and you're a Liverpool fan, right? So support the team and support Klopp if he stays, is what I'll say about this. With regards to the owners, I'm hoping that some sort of court of arbitration or somebody comes in and just kicks these boys in the ass and just says, like, you can't do this. Your company is based in this country. The tax that you're going to be earning probably from this thing is not going to come directly into us, blah, 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 blah. And they look for reasons to do it. But other than that, I don't know. Eddie, what you think anyway, man? Because it's pissing me off.
Like the point I was making kind of quickly was the lack of competition involved, right? So from a purely, I suppose, looking at it as a tournament or as a league, you can't have an American model, which is what it is, imposed on European football teams. Because if you look at America, they've got their 50 states or whatever they have, and they might have one basketball team per state or one hockey team per state or one American football team per state. That works there. No one gets relegated. We all have a place in it. But if you look at European football, we can't put that same model onto European football because we have teams like, if we take, for example, Spain, and we take Madrid and Barcelona and we stick them into the Super League. What about Valencia a couple of years ago who were on fire? What about Atletico who are currently on fire? In England, what about Leicester, coming up from the Championship, winning the Championship, coming up, winning the league, qualifying for Europe, doing a decent job in there. Like, what about teams like that? What about teams like us, Leeds, whatever it was 15 years ago? We just savage run in Europe. We got relegated 2 seasons later or whatever it was, but it was an incredible time to be a fan of the club. And to have that taken away from you as a fan, that you see a Spurs that are guaranteed to be in this thing for the next 10 years, or an Arsenal who are currently mid-table, or you even look at Man City. Man City a few years ago were in the Championship, won the Championship, got promoted, won the Premiership. We're taking that dream, that Royal Rovers style Leicester, Man City story, we're taking that story away. We're eliminating it from football for foreseeable future.
You exactly hit the nail in the head there, to be honest with you. Oh, am I looping back on somebody? You exactly hit the nail on the head there, lad, when it comes out to the Royal Rovers. I remember growing up when I was small and reading the Royal Rovers and getting into football and reading like that, and it was all comics with the whooshing sounds and all this and that. A fella came up from nothing. I love playing FIFA there, even when I'm doing the stuff where you're taking a story of a character who's nothing and bringing him up into a world-class player. There's not going to be any of that anymore because they're all going to be manufactured. They're all going to be pushed around like cattle. And, it's... I will never support an American model of football. No way will I do that.
If you look to the other European teams, like we spoke of earlier, Ajax, who always have a good team, maybe, once every 10 years, they'll have a team that'll come along and blow everyone away.
Yeah.
With like great young players. And if you look even at the 3 Italian teams, if you look at the 2 Milans and Juventus, all northern sides, and there's this massive divide in riches in Italy just in general between the north and the south. And they're excluding the likes of Napoli and Roma and Lazio. And again, it's like the south of Italy kind of probably feels like it's being screwed over by the rich lads up top.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, I totally get it. Like I said it earlier to you when I was off stream and whatever like that, and I know we got, like, as Irish fans, I mean, there's not much Irish football going. There's a lot going on at grassroots level, and we're delighted when they get up to a certain standard. But the Premier League standard of Irish football is pretty much like grassroots level in England. If you talk about that, it's where you go to perform at your best to get to places like England. You get to play, go to play for Wrexhams, you go to play for your Prestons. You love to do that, and then maybe you get picked up by the big teams. I mean, that's the way it always was with football. But there was a goal to get to. You could get to that elitist level. Imagine being a young Roy Keane and knowing that you can come in and do that, right? And get to Nottingham Forest at this time of the thing, and then know that you can never do anything in Europe.
Yeah. Look at Jamie Vardy's the recent example. Jamie Vardy was playing non-league football a few years ago. All of a sudden, he's top scorer in the Premiership and playing in Europe.
Yeah.
Has a Premiership medal.
Yeah.
Like, you're talking about that never happening again for anyone, or for foreseeable future, for 10 years or whatever it is before a new team gets put in. And at that point, you could have a team that's on a run like Leicester had, or on a run like Man City had, or like, who knows who the next one of those could be? Like, that someone from the Championship wins the Championship, bounces up 2 seasons later, wins the Premiership, and all of a sudden, a fella who was playing non-league football is playing in Europe. Like, these are the stories that kind of make us watch football, that make us, like, I'm fairly certain even Liverpool fans this season, Leicester won the league, will probably say, Jesus, this is brilliant.
I loved it.
It's just an incredible
I thought it was
story.
fantastic because we weren't involved in it, but as a neutral, I turned on and said, Leicester are there. Like, I was there sitting going, win every game. Even like we were there and we were going for Champions League football or whatever like that. I know we were going to kind of nick it or do something about it, but when I didn't like it when they beat us, but Vardy's goal was fantastic against us in that game. But but the one thing I turned into a Leicester fan for the rest of the season. Pretty
Absolutely,
much.
I'll watch him every week after that. Like,
although I kind of felt sorry for Spurs at the same time.
You know what? Like, you would, because that was their best chance of winning the league, arguably. But at the same time, I mean, it's just such a good story. It's such a. You remember watching the videos of when they won the league live? Did you remember that live stream and they were all inside in some fella's house? And they bouncing around the kitchen. Like, that's never happening again if this thing takes on, takes legs.
Yeah,
we'll never see it again. We'll see. I don't know. It's hard to get your head around it. Like,
I said it to you earlier, and I'm going to say it again. I'm hoping that this is some sort of massive ploy to just force UEFA to come on board with given some sort of percentage into running the whole competition to the major clubs, right? Which are a representative from each, which they had their Ed Woodwards there, and they had their your man from Juventus, and they had them people, but to control this based on money and not the fans and not the competition itself is just, it's sacrilegious.
But that's your problem. I think that's your problem with modern football. And in a nutshell, it's not about the football anymore. There was a statement made today that there was a leak or something like that. Someone on a board, I was watching on Sky Sports earlier, someone on the board of some club said that they asked another fella on the board, they said primary target is business and everything else is secondary. If you're looking at sport, in any sport where the primary target is not the sport, you have massive issues immediately. Yeah. It's not how it should be run. Yeah. It's not
like we're sitting there. We're sitting here right now. We're here, lads. Sorry, Steve, there on the bottom of the screen. He's an Arsenal fan, and Eddie's a Leeds fan there. In your top right of the screen. Also, we've got Stephen Murphy there. Muzzy, he's after commenting in the chat. Pretty much what we were saying, hitting the nail on the head. Lads, it's simple. UEFA and FIFA created this. They were the creators of their own downfall with their own greed, right? We get it that I think they've got like a revenue of 3 to 3.5 billion a year off of what they make in from all sponsorship deals, everything like that. And the winning team only sees 110 million of it. So I get where the clubs are pissed off like that, but I'm hoping that this is applied to force UEFA into doing something drastic and just U-turning on everything and saying, look, we're going to create a new board, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to try and make it better to fans if you'll just come back. And if they do that, then maybe they'll turn around and say, all right, letter of intent in there, your man JP Morgan will get involved, somewhere else involved in it, because they're going to just add on in all these add-ons that they've already started. But to just do it and to exclude all the other teams in the league and in every other league, it's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. Like they did it with the Premier League, right? But they didn't do it like that. They were in discussions the entire time with the FA when they were going to change over the Premier League. The FA then just said in those discussions, the honours must continue. So the honours are going to move up from Division 1 into years, and the FA then are just going to run everything in general, right? But then the Division 2 at the time would become the Championship, and the honour and so forth. And then that's where you see like the old lady being used as a trophy still, just in memory of that, like, you know. But the honours were to remain the same. That's the only thing that the FA wanted. They didn't want the honours to stop. So that the Premier League was based on a new format of the 20 teams and how the relegation work and all that. But just because they were allowed to bring in these extra sponsors, which they weren't allowed to do before, because the FA didn't like losing control. So.
Do you know that the cynical side of me as well, and conspiracy hat side of me, is looking at the teams that are in it. How many of them have been involved in financial fair play in the last 10 years?
Pretty much.
Like, certainly Barcelona, Man City. I mean, how many of them have actually been sanctioned by financial fair play?
No.
You know? And
Chelsea got a ban, didn't they? Chelsea got a European.
Chelsea got a ban. I think didn't City get something done to them last or 2 years ago?
They got a fine or something like that. So.
And Barcelona had a transfer ban, didn't they?
Barcelona had a transfer ban. Yeah, they did that.
So these are all teams who have been already told, like, lads, you're spending too much money on you know, you're not really being fair, I suppose, to everybody else, for want of a better word. Like Chelsea were murdered for it. Chelsea were signing young fellas there at 14 and 15 who might have actually had careers somewhere else. And they were just signing them all. The one go, I think it was UEFA sanctioned them for that, actually. And is this why we have a problem? Like, is this the main thing, that they don't want anyone telling them what to do with their purse strings or whatever? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just me being cynical, I suppose. I don't know.
When you talk about Chelsea, wasn't there one season a few years ago they had something like 46 players out on loan?
Yeah. Remember that? Yeah, that was 2.5 years out before the January, 46, and then I think they had like 32 after that or something. They brought some people back. Yeah, that was ridiculous. Yeah. And it's just
like, there's lots of problems there. Obviously, you know, there's like, if you're a big club, like, again, I just look at these teams in it though. I can't. Like Spurs, I don't know what the story is. That Spurs had a good couple of seasons. They had a good run for a few seasons. But can you actually call them a top 4 team or a top 6 team in England? Like, you know, currently this season, I don't know.
They're not this season. I get it. Arsenal were the team at one point that they were guaranteed to get fourth. You know, remember they were just like, who's it going to be? Oh, it could be, you know, it could be United, it could be Liverpool, maybe City. But Arsenal get fourth. You know, it was always that way for like about 10 years, remember?
Long time with that top 4 before it became a top 6. Where it was just every year, it was just which of those 4 are going to finish first. And nobody else got near them. A long, long time. And that was, again, just the money they were getting from the Champions League every year just made a severe disadvantage to the other teams, and they just started to pull away. And eventually the money came into Man City and whatever. Leicester were better run more money into the Premier League so the other teams could catch up. But now they're going again to this system where if you give these clubs that money again that the others don't get, that's the end of the competition again.
Well, if the Super League thing is what, as Stephen said there, if it is going to go ahead, right, and if it does, and then they'll say, see, the whole format of this, what I hear about it is this is guaranteeing these 15 teams a spot every year.
Yeah, I think it's 10 years they're saying it.
Oh, is it for 10 years? All right. Okay, so maybe these ones are putting the funding in and the model, right? And you can see at that point that maybe they want some sort of, maybe a seeding when it comes to it, right? But guaranteeing them a spot in it, I don't know. Maybe a seeding, but not guaranteeing them a spot as founding members of any competition.
I don't think anyone should be guaranteed anything. Like,
no, I don't think anybody should guarantee anything. No,
it's like the Premier League turn around saying Man United can never be relegated. It's stupid, you know. Like, anyone can be relegated. That's the brilliant thing about the competition. Anyone can be promoted. Anyone can be relegated.
Yeah.
It's hard to envision it, but actually anybody can win it at the start of the season. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you don't know.
And that's the great thing about the game, right? That's what keeps us interested. Leicester stories like Man City. And it's what keeps us watching it. Like, as a Leeds fan, we spent the last, count to 16 years in the dregs of football there for a while, and then we started playing decent football, and all of a sudden they're in there kind of lighting up the Premiership. They're not winning every game, but they're fun to watch. You don't know what's going to happen with them. They might have another run in Europe in a couple of years' time, or they might get relegated in 2 seasons. But the chance, the opportunity is there for it to happen, you know.
Yeah.
And if you take that away at whatever level, if you take that away from the game, you're diluting it. You're turning it into, I don't know, you're turning it into a product, I suppose, rather than a sport. I'm not sure what way
No,
to
I don't want
describe
that.
it.
American capitalism. It's that simple. It's Americanisms
It is
bringing it
that
to sport, and I can't hinder that enough. I don't want. Oh shit! I don't want that anywhere near the sport that I love. Anywhere near that you want.
If it does go ahead as well, I don't want this, like, if they trot out this, oh well, in 10 years it'll be competitive. It won't, because you can pick like Shrewsbury Town and give them 350 million a year for 10 years, and they'll be walking away in the Premier League.
Yeah.
You know, and if you give 6 clubs and that much money on top of what they already earn, it's going to be just the squads they'll have built up by the end of that 10 years.
Exactly.
I hope this
Plus
squad's
the
in
players
fact.
that they'll attract. Imagine the players, like if I'm Leeds and I'm trying to attract a decent striker or midfielder or defender or whatever from some grassroots team or whatever, and then all of a sudden Man United comes in when they says, well, we're in the Super League. Who's he going to sign for? Like,
Mhm.
do you know? There's no. It's as you said, you're giving them money every year, but you're also giving them the status that comes with it.
And the thing is, you get that too in American sports, where you have the really rich teams in American sports and the really poor teams. And when a top player comes along, it's maybe 1 or 2 teams can actually afford to pay for him, and that's what you're going to end up with.
Like Steve said there as well. Look at the UEFA Champions League revised model. It's not far off the new Super League model, you know. But they just don't want that, because they're only what UEFA is doing there, Steve. And it is not fair off. But what they're doing is that they're saying, oh, we're going to give you these extra 4 matches so you can make that much revenue out of it, but we still want to keep the same money that we have. That's not going to work. They don't want to play more matches in the season. They want to play the competition as it is, with the 32 teams or whatever like that, or even less than that. Putting it up to 36 teams, and then making sure that they sacrifice 1 of the 2 domestic trophies and do all of that. It's just something that these teams don't want. So I can see it from the club's point of view in some way, but absolutely not down to earning their place. That has to go.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what, that has to be a simple. That has to be a basic thing that just pops in anywhere, and is just, what the fuck is going on here now? Or maybe I've shit. Do I? Remind me later. I have to make sure I don't have the VPN on. Where's my fucking VPN? Huh? Okay. Are you able to watch that movie? Because I can't. Or that movie, Jimmy. That is that
I'm going to have to head away there in a second.
Yeah, you've got a screening, don't you?
Indeed.
You do. Well, whenever you have to go, let me know, and we'll just.
Yeah, I need to go there now.
You have to go. All right, man. See you walk away. Nice one for popping in, dude. We'll try and get something better going the next night where there's more people involved. I did put it out there for people to get involved, but I know Kev's thing was being messing up with his TV screen. But I mean, if people are popping into chat there or whatever like that, that's even well and good. A lot of people just couldn't connect for some reason. Get better internet, lads. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, mine's at 101 point something or something like that.
That's all right. That's more than enough for anything to do with streaming or watching anything.
Hopefully. But I know other places. I was down with my parents last week. It was at about 8.
Oh Jesus, no, that's the end of that in here. I was on that kind of stuff out in Blarney when I was living there, but no.
Can't handle that. All right, guys.
All right, man. Steve, nice one. Appreciate it, dude.
Enjoy your talk.
Will do.
Cool.
All right, man. Good luck. Don't forget to hit video first. Otherwise, it'll just keep it up.
No, sure. Look,
If the Super League goes ahead, I'd invite the domestic cup winners into it every year. Yeah, you know, it's earned that way, right? Why is this? Everything's not loading for me. I might have to restart this box. Is anybody winning or losing? Because I'm missing all of this.
Nil.
Was it? No. I'm going to swap this around actually for the crack, because I know it's the Liverpool versus Leeds team, but And as much as I like Leeds from my own past history, I'd rather give that to you over here in the corner. And move me over here. Where is it now? Aye. There you go. So I know I swapped it. There was the crests that were sitting there on the channel.
All
so
right.
I had Leeds and Liverpool, but then I swapped them on to give you. It's not being played. Okay, so I need to go to home on this. I need to restart this box because it's faking up for me. This has been happening lately as well. I don't know what's going on. Well, I know what's going on. It's my ASP trying to stop me from watching the stream, really. If the Super League was ahead, yeah, the domestic cup winners should get a place in this tournament.
Yeah, I agree. I'd rather see someone who won the FA Cup in it than Spurs or than Arsenal, who are
There's five major leagues, isn't there? I mean, if that's going to entice the likes of PSG and all of them in it, and then give everybody else a fair crack at the whip. Now, if they said, all right, we're going to take the elite teams that are in it every year, and we're going to give them the first 15 places, right? But we're still
the problem is still who's elite. How do we quantify who's an elite team? I mean, it's easy enough, right?
It wouldn't be Spurs or Arsenal anyway. It wouldn't be Spurs or Arsenal.
Absolutely not. No. And this season, there's an argument against Liverpool this season. Like, no matter what we dress it up,
yeah, I'd agree with that.
There's an argument for Leicester when you think about it. You've got to say in England, Man United, Man City, grand, and even at that, you'd say Man City are kind of
the only thing against that is probably, all right, if they say, all right, look at the people that have been consistently in the Champions League over a period of years.
And
so if you go that way, then you say, all right, let's give the first 16 spots to them, which is half what it should be in the Champions League, right? So then you say the other 16 spots is for whoever finishes highest, regardless of position in the league. Whoever finishes the next two highest in maybe England, in France, like you give it to the PSGs, and maybe whoever was in there, Lyon, maybe. Because no matter how much they have not been great in the last couple of seasons, they were always consistently there. So you would give it to them.
They win a few games, like
So you give it to them, and then all of a sudden, you're looking at. Then you're saying, right, we're going to give one position to each of the major divisions cup competition winners, like an FA Cup winner. You know, the whatever it is in Germany.
Yeah, but the initial thing still bothers me. The initial, let's give it to 16 teams, right? Or let's give it to the teams who are consistently good. I still have a problem with that because they're not there. They're not there because they earned it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If they started off this season, for example, and they had proper promotion relegation, that you get into it by earning it. The top 4 teams in England get into it, or 6 teams, and it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're Spurs or whether you're Man City or whether you're Leicester or whether you're Leeds or whether you're like Brentford in a couple of years' time. Who knows? Like, you know, whoever is the top 6, they get into it, or top 4. At least I've no problem with that because they've earned it. They've done their bits during the season. They're still going to focus on the Premiership and still going to focus on their domestic league in order to qualify. Giving 16 teams, or we got 6 in England at the moment. Giving it to them for the next 10 years, guaranteeing them they're not going to get relegated out of it is absolutely insane. Like, it's crazy.
I was talking that to somebody about today as well. Steve just said it there as well. He's at the saying that the only reason that PSG aren't really a part of it yet is because of Qatar hosting the World Cup. Yeah. So,
exactly. Yeah, I agree with that.
So, but they are meant to be one of the other 3 teams that's going to be a part of it. They're saying that it's Bayern Munich, RB Leipzig, and PSG. So it was that one, but no, PSG are kind of out of it. Maybe they will get the elite league status where if they finish top of the league, they'll get into it anyway. You know, so but they won't be a founder status if you get it. So if they don't finish top of the league, they can miss out.
I just have a problem with the founder status.
It's stupid. Absolutely stupid. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, we all know that these teams are going to earn it anyway and get in there, but you don't just give it to them because it takes away their drive. You know,
it does. And if you can't imagine if you're in a top tier in England, right? So imagine if someone came along to the top 6 in England at the moment and in the Premiership said, lads, he can't get relegated enough for the next 10 years. They can focus on other stuff. They can focus on Champions League. They can focus on whatever else, and know for a fact you're not going to get relegated
I know for
out
a
of the
fact.
competition for
I know
any
for a
number
fact
of
Liverpool
years.
will play the same team that they played against Aston Villa when they lost 5-0 there in the cup a couple of seasons ago.
There you go.
That'll be the team every week in the
There you
Premier
go.
League, and they'll probably end up getting relegated and just bounce back up
I
with the
think
same
it
team
was
next year.
Neville Carragher said it earlier. One of the two boys said it earlier as well. Like, if you're playing against Madrid on Wednesday and you're playing against West Brom on Saturday, or you're playing against West Brom on Saturday or Madrid on Wednesday, whatever it is, who are you going to play? Where are you going to play your top team? Especially that you don't need to qualify to get into this thing. Where are you going to play the top team? And like, where are all the superstars going to play? It just belittles the Premier League. It belittles domestic leagues. They didn't think it fully through. You know, maybe their heads are in a decent place with regards to, let's set up this marvelous competition full of the best teams in the world. But lads, how do we pick the best teams in the world? Like, really, they change every year. The best team in the world changes every year. The best teams in domestic league changes every year.
Steve said again, you know, as well, like, about Bayern. We were talking about this earlier. Bayern and Leipzig are only like considering it and seeing how it goes first and all of this and that, right? But that's mainly down to the fact, as we said, that they're all owned by like 51% of the fans. So besides RB Leipzig, which is pretty much just funded. So and the German league is decided by that kind of motto as well. It's just the way the league is run is ridiculously cool, and I think it should always be run that way. With, as I said, with 49% of the rest of it being funded, and ball and goal. Oh, it's a goal, is it? Sadio 1-0.
Alex, yeah,
It's a good goal. It's a fantastic ball. It's Sadio's first goal in about fucking 15-16 games, I'd say. And
of course he did.
yeah, because there's all talk about him this week, about him leaving and all this. It's bullshit that normally comes up. But Sadio was the first person that said 3 weeks ago when he came out saying, Salah was the one who was saying he wasn't clear on what the club wanted him to do, blah, blah, blah. And Sadio was like, I don't want to go anywhere. No, he's not. He's on 14. Who's 14? He's keeping him on there by a good foot. Yeah. He was even level with the fella that was behind, or the fella was above him. But you see the line there now. It was a great ball by Jota though. Say it, well done, Trent. That's another assist for Trent, man. He's coming back into the last few weeks again. He just had a bad first game against Madrid there, in between he's bad to good run. But this'll be a fucking high scoring game. It's just they've allowed Leeds now to come out, and you boys will just attack. But
well, we don't play another way anyway. There's no point sitting back now.
Yeah, exactly. I said that. Yeah, I was saying that's. I mean, if anybody knows the stats and everything, we all know like the basic stats of anybody winning the league or doing anything in the league. You have to win 28.6 games or have 28.6 games played in the league before a league can be awarded if a league was to be null and voided. With that situation last season, Liverpool had played 29 games, and the majority of teams, over 81% of teams, had played 29 games. So that's the league played with over 28.4 games. So if they wanted the league finished in, Liverpool would have just been handed the title and the Champions League spot like straight away, and then everybody else would have been gifted up in there. Then that's one more
14,
team.
yeah.
It's 14. So the 14 teams can't do anything about this, which is why the power. This is why these six teams know that the power sits with them in their consortium, and it just takes one of them to back up.
Not if there's a 22-team Premier League next season. A 22-team Premier League next season.
Yeah, they could do that. The Premier League can turn around and just say, "Here, look, we're going to promote 2 extra teams next season," and then after that, we're gone, like, But
I don't think they're not going to ban him from competition or anything like that, but definitely, I mean, they'll have to make some sort of a stand anyway, because look at this fucking shit again.
Jesus, Jesus, Jota.
Because if they let them get away with this now, they'll know that they can do whatever they want.
Well, they can't. They'll have to give them deductions anyway, right? So these teams are going to have to be deducted points first and foremost, whether they relegate them or not.
Yeah.
Can't
see him being relegated.
Yeah, because because if the Premier League has an understanding with UEFA and their format says that you must qualify for this and that, if you pull out of this competition prior to that, you can be fined, you can be deducted points. It's the same kind of stuff. So it'll probably probably end up to the point of maybe if it's 10 points for for like let's say somebody going into administration, then it could be a good 20 points for something like this. It could be 15 to 20 points.
Next
And if they're
season,
talking
though,
that, Leicester will win the league as is.
are you talking about putting that points deduction on straight away?
No, I don't think it'll be. I don't think they'll start them with I think it'll be an immediate. I think it'll be an immediate thing. To be honest with you, I think because they're if these I don't even know if Liverpool came out today and said they left the ECA. Did they leave the ECA? I didn't see that in the news. I seen that the last person that or the last team that posted it was that United left the ECA and Woodward resigned from his post. But I didn't see that Liverpool left from the. It would fucking absolutely be hilarious if we did to them what they did to us with the furlough situation, because all of these big elite teams sat in a room and said that they were all going to do the furlough thing, but they told Liverpool to announce it first. Is what the way it went. And so when they were announced it first, Arsenal was meant to announce it after that. Then United, and then they were going to see it. And then, but Liverpool announced it. Everyone went batshit crazy, and none of the other teams announced it. It'd be brilliant if Liverpool said they were going along with this, and then at the last second, everybody backs out of the ECA, and then we just said, "Nah, you're on, lads. We're coming back in here now. We're going to vote you out of the league for the crack." I'd fucking love it, just for the sake of that would be the biggest shithousery. It'd be shit though, but like that'd be the biggest shithousery that you could ever do, because the fact that we even said we were involved in it in the first place means that I would want us to go down with them. So,
yeah, I think the fact that they've said they're involved to eliminate that as a scenario, they've already, like, that's the damage. The damage is there. Damage isn't anything that comes afterwards. You know, I think people are annoyed that the teams have come out and said, yeah, we're back in this thing.
all teams left the ECA. I didn't even see that because I didn't see Liverpool announcing it. I just seen the last team to announce it was United, and that was today. I was just, hey, oh Jesus, Andy. Jota's fucking sliding all over the pitch. Have you seen that?
That's that fucking shit. That's that shocking Spurs surface they sold us.
Oh, was that
300,000 a couple of weeks ago for surface? Yeah.
Oh, was that the last surface from the new stadium? Is it?
No, they were growing it for themselves. They had it, but it wasn't ready fully. Like, we were in a bad state at that stage.
Oh man.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, the cat. Come on, ref, let me alone. Did he just stick his finger or something?
No. Maybe in Turkey next season.
That's twice it looks like he's after doing it. What the fuck? What do you think about the linking with fucking Rafinha with us?
I don't think he'd suit you, Kev.
Do you think so?
I don't think
I think Klopp is looking to Klopp is going to move on Origi, he's going to move on Shaqiri, he's going to move on another couple of players that are just Oxlade Chamber and stuff like that. He's going to look for players that are able to come off the bench and do stuff for us.
Yeah, he might be a bench player for you, but I can't see like looking at Rafinha. I'm a Leeds fan. Looking at Rafinha the last couple of games, his final ball hasn't been great. Like, you know, he has great moments and all that kind of stuff, and everyone's talking about him as the main man. But Leeds are like Dallas. They're in the midfield for Leeds after having a spectacular season.
Yeah, he's in my fantasy football since halfway through. You know,
he's in mine too, right? Like, you know, he's after getting a load of goals. He's after having a load of assists. When he's in the team, we're scoring more goals. All this kind of stuff. There's statistics about that. Like Rafinha, as much as he's a great player, he's lovely to watch and all that kind of stuff. Took him a while to get into it, and then he'd have a couple of moments where I'm questioning what he's doing with it, like a little bit.
Yeah, but he's a driver at the ball, you see, because we've got Ox that kind of does that for us, where he'll run with the ball at people, but then he can't stay fit.
Yeah,
and that's the difference. If Rafinha can do that, and then he's got guidance by Klopp, maybe he changes his style a small bit. Because Bielsa's just sitting in the corner going FFF while your man's translating for him, like, oh well, Rafinha speaks that, I suppose.
I can't see Leeds selling him anyway. I don't know if Leeds are going to be a selling team. Like, certainly not to a rival or who they want to be rivals with.
Yeah,
you know, I think your man. We've got this chairman who really believes in the club. Like, I think he's there to challenge. He's not there to be a
Italian
team that sells.
is it?
Yeah,
I think I watched that. Is it being Leeds? Is that what it was called? It was.
Bring us home or take us home or something.
Or something like that. I watched the majority of that, I think. Yeah, Steve
Yeah.
says, yeah, Steve Muzzy said the same there. It's great to see Leeds back in the Premier League as well. Steve, if you're doing nothing, man, you want to jump in on the chat, man, you can come in the other way. I can send you the link to the Discord, because we're just chatting away, talking shit anyway, and having a beer. So I put up the post earlier, you see, on Facebook, so I thought people would see it, and then they could just jump into it. So
I can't come back to that though. I can't see Leeds being a selling team at all. Like, you know, I could be wrong, but
I
think what they're doing is they're trying to build something.
they've got a smell of rotational off them, so they'll sell and buy the same.
Yeah, again, I don't know. I think to a certain extent, yeah, but I can't see him selling
Oh,
what you would
drop
consider
that!
to be a star.
Ah,
Fucking
Jesus.
super keeper, mate.
He's my keeper.
I wouldn't have him in no, but
I know.
like,
I was he was the only one that I could afford at the time when he was doing at that week.
well, come here, I think he's number 2 in the thing as well, is he?
Yeah,
as far as keepers goes.
He's done well for me in the last couple of months.
Games,
Yeah, actually I think I might have swapped him out though in the last couple of weeks for Martinez. I don't know, but Meslier was there from the start.
but I think the way Leeds are set up though, and the way they're managing things is that they want to build a team as opposed to just. I don't think they're happy to be there. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. The oh Jesus, go on. The boat slipped. Sadio. Could you pass it to Sadio? What's he doing?
That's that London turf boy up in Yorkshire is no good.
I know that stadium very fucking well. I used to work for them, sure.
Come here. Another thing no one's talked about there during the season as well. They talked about teams losing players and stuff like that. Oh, it's only over the last couple of weeks that Leeds have had a full strength defence. You know, they were talking about Leeds being great attacking and kind of would leak goals at the back. But actually, like, we haven't actually had a proper defence most of the season. We started the season without Cooper. Yeah. We had a couple of weeks where Cooper was on an injury. We had Llorente injured. We had your man Koch injured. He's not even playing still, I don't think.
You're literally Liverpool style from 3 seasons ago. Attack,
I think, you know,
score more than defence.
It's not an unfair comparison to make, like. And no one's talking about that. Everyone's talking about all Leeds.
I know I said that.
They're very exciting.
I said that myself at the start of the season. I said the boys are missing fucking. Yeah. Where's the link? Sorry, Steve. I said it, you know, man. Steve's going to pop in there for a chat as well. Have you got Discord, Steve? Just make sure you have it. If you don't, download it and on your laptop or whatever, and then bang it on.
You can do it desktop.
Oh, I did the wrong thing now. Yeah, desktop, laptop, phone is something I would advise against because it's going to be laggy, unless you've got like really good internet. Okay, so Steve, we've got Wayne there, who's he's my cousin there. He's a Blackburn fan as well. According to what you said about the majority voting there with Dunedin, it is true. But also the Premier League ruling states that if any club joins a competition without their approval, they can face expulsion from the league. So, but that's the thing. They can't, yeah. But he's absolutely right. But nobody's going to think of that because are the Premier League brave enough to expel their best assets? You know, like
you can't.
You can't.
Like that would be more damaging.
Destroy.
That would just be the same amount of damage to the league.
Oh, it will destroy the fucking league, man. But what have we got here now? So if I go like that, and we get to this, I need to get to. What's that? Oh no, what did I do? No. Steve. There we go. He'd probably have the link. There we go. So I'm gonna forward, copy, and send to Steve Murphy. Go to bed, you. You sent it to there, Steve. Ishandua. Oh, dude, you've come in a bit late there now, Ishan. All right, we are absolutely against this European Super League if it excludes the teams that deserve to be there. Simple as. They can reformat the UEFA League and take it off UEFA, away from FIFA, do whatever, but they should have consulted the fans first, pretty much. This has nothing got to do with any football club, any player, any manager. It's to do with greed from owners. It's that simple. So for me, I don't agree. I agree that UEFA needs shaking up, but I don't agree with having this elitist format of a Super League, as they say.
And to reiterate as well, Kev, my biggest issue is how do you justify Spurs and Arsenal being in there this season?
I can't.
As the best. You can't, like. Form a Super League, by all means. Form a league where there's a savage competition on football, but have there be that you have to qualify for it, and that if you're 10th in the Premier League this season, you're not in it.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
It's just ridiculous. It's baffling. Like.
It has to be on some sort of merit. You know, it really does.
It has to be on merit. And even you kind of have said earlier, is it the teams who have been kind of most consistent in Europe? Well, sure, if you go back far enough in time, fucking Forest were consistent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've always said that.
Say just because it was good 10 years ago that they're going to be good this season, like.
Forest have 2 more European Cups than 90%, 99 or 99% of the rest of the teams in fucking the whole country. You know, so.
And that's the brilliant thing about it. That's the fantastic thing about football. And by guaranteeing some fucking 10th position in league team a position in the tournament, it's kind of making a mockery of the tournament itself as well. Like.
What you should be, Ishan's a Man City fan. Ishan, what you should be, man, is disappointed in your ownership. As much as they've bigged you up and made you the side that you are today, and pretty much, I mean, because they are City and Chelsea are a buying club, they pretty much bought the leagues, and that in itself was a bit, a bit embarrassingly. It's a bit embarrassing, you know, as a supporter to say that that's what happened from a club that did have an old history, but.
Well, can you say that about City when they won the championship that time though? Did they have the buying power then?
When they won the championship, I think they might have had the same pull that Leeds had. No,
I think you could argue that City have a decent history.
They have a decent history
up until that takeover, we'd say. You know, as in they earned their spot in the Premier League. They were down in Division 1, I think, wasn't it?
No, Division 3.
They were Division 3.
They went all the way down. Yeah.
So they won their way back.
Yeah.
And then I suppose you could nearly say they got, in a way, you could say, they bought big players and stuff like that, and they kind of pulled the Chelsea, for want of a better word. But at the same time, you can't really say that they bought everything.
No, I didn't buy everything. They just they said is that they bought it. They bought a present.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They have a history, but they bought the present. If you know what I mean, that's what I would say.
Yeah, and I suppose,
same with Chelsea in the 2000s.
And to play devil's advocate there again, like it looks like you're going to have major investment for any team really to have in the modern game. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. It's going.
But I thought with FFP, man, with financial fair play, that it would limit everybody to spending the same thing. You see, what they should have done when they were doing financial fair play is also bring in wage caps. If they brought in wage caps, everybody could afford the same person. And it would just be who you wanted to go to and what the project was the sweetest and all of that. But having money as your extra benefit is just a no. Not in a sport like this. It should be about heritage, history, and how the club is run. That's why Liverpool were famous on the boot room. You know, Leeds were famous back in the day for the players they had, especially with the likes of Billy Bremner and all of these boys. That made the history of these clubs, like, you know. You had, you know, United. Even going back to the time with the Busby Babes, and then after that again, so they disappear for a long time. I sit there, I know it's a bit off putting for these days, but I sit there and I listen to United fans saying at least we didn't go 30 years without a title. You know, and I turn around and say, well, yeah, but United hold the record for 33 years and 41 years without a title, then one in between, and then another 40 odd years without a title. So I mean, you have to understand, this is why there's a big piss take about United fans with 1992, that football started after 1982, because that's when they started winning anything, you know. So
you could argue that football changed at that time.
Yeah,
You know,
it did.
the introduction of the Premiership was certainly that was probably the biggest thing that happened to football in, I suppose, living memory, really. Like, you know, and they did kind of dominate that for a number of years.
Yeah.
So in a way, like, their argument is, oh, sure, we're after dominating the most exciting time of football, which you probably could argue at the same time, right? But you can't. I agree with you. You can't just brush aside the history. Like, you can't just say, you know, your history's gone now because this is happening or whatever. And
But United didn't buy
think
those
fans are
leagues.
fake,
You know,
no, they didn't. No.
they grew it. They did what Arsenal did 10 years later, and you know, they
Yeah.
grew it from youth level. They've done what Liverpool did with the boot room. I mean, they were the initial model to follow with Shankly in his boot room, and after that, they built it from the ground up. They did it, and club followed club after club, and that's the way it went. You know, you could probably argue that Leicester did kind of buy the players that suited their style, and some of them cost a pretty penny, but they did it the right way, and you know.
Yeah,
so-
but I think, again, for Leicester, you certainly wouldn't call that a bought title, like, you know. When you think about
Absolutely not.
non-league football,
No, but
you know.
I was just comparing it to the time scale of how the clubs won
Yeah.
their titles, you know. Leicester deserved it. It was a weird season, but it was a deserved season in the end. So they
It was
absolutely.
It's the best season that I can remember.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
in
By
year-
far.
Can you think of a better campaign than that? Like, I don't think there was ever a better campaign than that. Like,
Well,
Premier League.
I want to give it to Leicester. I would give it to City on the last kick of the game in 2011,
the
2012.
Aguero thing,
Yeah, but still, they had the money behind them, and that was just like they were just buying all the elite players that were around them at the time. You know, they had Aguero, Balotelli, you know, they had Dzeko even in the same fucking team. How could you have that kind of strike force and not be considered? You know that you know. So in a way, I get that they were kind of like, because I kind of rooted for Chelsea a bit at the start when they did it, and they were taking it away from United as well. And but I kind of always liked Arsenal until, even though they became an elite side, they got really cocky. They were like this French snobbery about them.
I
And,
think that's football. I think,
yeah.
again, football fans, we love that story.
Yeah.
We love, you know.
We like the
big
journey,
thing,
but we
and
hate the
see them,
aftermath.
you know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Man United winning the league every season.
No.
I don't want to see Arsenal win. Liverpool last season won your league, won your title, or whatever. You were the team to beat this season. I wanted us to beat you. I wanted teams to beat you. You know, because that's, and I think that's again is good for football.
Yeah.
Chelsea, when they got all the money, that time I was saying, "Fuck it, I hope everyone beats the shit out of them."
Yeah.
You know, just because
Because they had the
you have
vibes.
this aura about you.
Yeah.
I think it's healthy to have a different winner every season. It's healthy to have competition in football. You know, I hate, like, teams dominating. It's great for their fans, but it's kind of shit for the rest of us, like, or for neutrals.
Yeah.
You know, which is why I would say that like that Leicester season, like, was just brilliant. Like, it was just fantastic as a neutral fan watching that season. It was incredible to look at.
It was one of the best seasons to watch for me, being an outsider to it.
Yeah.
You know, it was just ridiculously cool. Like, and I suppose the second to me for people win the league, because I appreciate what City have become. But what I also appreciate, like, that was the time that when they were buying, so they sustained themselves by buying, right? But then when I think of it after that, for many years in between that, when City were winning titles, they didn't spend too much money. I think the max that they ever spent was 54 million on De Bruyne, which was a steal at that time. But then after that, when Pep started coming into it and it started taking over and all of that, then I was seeing, okay, they've just spent 500 million on the defense and still lost the fucking league, you know. And then that's when I'm kind of going, no, fuck that. And that's when I'm kind of saying, unless City kind of I was loving when financial fair play were coming in and saying to him, all right, you're going to take a ban for a couple of seasons from buying people, then you're going to have to say, all right, do it again now with the same team, do it again with the same team, you know. So which we found out was so much harder to do this year, because we lost Van Dijk earlier on, which I didn't mind, because we were sustained with, like, I was trusting Gomez and Matip, and they were great. And then all of a sudden, I didn't even see this chance. Then there was, but then we lost Gomez on top of that. So that was our first 2 pairing centre backs. We already lost Lovren because we got rid of him to Zenit. And then we're thinking, right, so we've Matip in there. I'll be okay with Fabinho going back there as long as we've got Hendo in the midfield. And it was okay for a while. We were still top by Christmas, 4 points clear and doing well like that. And then all of a sudden, Matip went. And then Hendo had to go back into the central defence. And then we were scrambling to say, do we need to buy somebody? Do we need to do something? Is Matip going to be ready? Then it took him 2 weeks to get a fucking definitive answer back from him to see if it was. And then we had 2 weeks left in the transfer window to see if we could do anything. We ended up buying a player that's never even kicked the ball for us in Ben Davies. But Quebec has done well, in fairness. He's being thrown into that kind of pressure with his Schalke team sitting in relegation zone, with him being injured earlier on in the season as well. So like he's done fairly well for that, and he deserves to get his buy-in. Even if he is 3rd or 4th choice next season, it doesn't matter. But like, especially with your man Konate or something coming in now, and that's supposed to be finalised. But that's if it is. I'll still wait for James Pearce and all that to happen. But in saying that,
playing the championship yet, okay.
But even in that, like, to me, our season was derailed not by Van Dijk being missing, not even by Gomez being missing. The minute we lost Fabinho and Henderson from the midfield, that killed Trent and Robbo. There was no goals coming in from the wing.
I think Trent got found out big time already as a defender, like, you know.
Who's
this
that?
Season. Trent, as far as his defending goes, like,
yeah, he was poor.
Found out a bit,
yeah, but he's never been strong defensively anyway.
They're talking now about moving him into, but they're talking about moving him up, aren't they?
Well, he was a midfielder. Do you know that's what he started? Like his goal was to be Stephen Gerrard. If you said to me, right, because Curtis Jones now hasn't been seen for a while, but he's been injured as well. But like, if you said to me, right, we're getting rid of Ox, Shaqiri, probably Naby Keita, if he doesn't come to fruition, which I adore Naby Keita, man, because I watched him playing ball in the Bundesliga and I loved watching him at RB Leipzig. I said I'd love to have him in our midfield. He just drives at people, and then he just took that awful injury the summer before he came to us, and then he had that season where he went in and it reoccurred again, and then we were already after buying him for 15 million the previous season. So he came to us injured. He's never really gotten it fixed. He should have taken the 4 months out and gotten the operation like Hendo did that time with his ankle. And Hendo was a changed player. Everybody was giving out about Hendo being injured left, right and centre every so often, and always passing the ball back or not being able to turn on the ball or whatever. Hendo had that operation on his ankle, made him a completely different player. He just dominated the midfield. He became the captain that we wanted him to be. And I can never look at him as anything else but maybe on the same par as Stephen Gerrard. Like, the only difference with Stephen Gerrard is Stephen Gerrard played in weaker teams and he was a worldie. And Hendo, for me, in his last 3 seasons, has been that pair, and the 2014-15 season when we nearly won the league has been on that pair, like, you know. So, David Lynch, what's the crack, lad? Yeah, been very impressed with tonight with the on-field performances. But lads, I'm heartbroken with the news broke yesterday. We all are, man. We're talking about it here as well. It's a killer to sport. It's a killer to the sport, really, Dave. You know, it's I slept for one. You can see, you know, I'm having a few pints tonight, but I'll probably, you know, I have about fucking 16 of them there, and I'll probably drink about 5 of them before I sack one like this. Normally I could drink the whole fucking 16 of them, like, but I'm going to be tired tonight, really, because I didn't sleep last night. I was going through my phone, and then I ended up going back over, and I was looking at videos of like Kenny and fucking Souness and all the lads doing their thing, and you know. You know, just the history of the club, really, like, and it broke my heart to think that. Do you know what upsets me much? I think, Dave, to be honest with you, I think UEFA and FIFA deserve what's coming to them with regards to this, right? So don't get me wrong, I don't agree with it. I believe that they deserve what's coming to them because they've monopolised every club that's out there that makes them their money. And I'll be honest with you, you're talking that they make 3.5 billion off a Champions League season, right? And the winners see 110 million. The winners see 110 million out of that. If you're the elite of the elite, you should get that, right? Even if they wanted to, because I mean, I know that the Club World Cup is like more prestigious now, and it's a major because it's the only FIFA trophy, right? But even if they split the dividends with that, okay, you win 250 for winning the Champions League, but you can get an extra 100 to 150 million, depending on the TV money, to win the Super Cup, let's say, or you know, and it just makes it like your champions against champions stuff there, and make it elite. But they kind of haven't, you know. They've let the clubs not make the money off of it the way they should have done, because you've got minnows coming, and I understand that there's minnows coming into the Champions League, and they're not making the same money because they can't last as long. But if you gave every team a minimum of, like, you qualify for the Champions League, here's 150 million each, bang, every single one of you, then already they can focus on the Champions League. You get to a certain position in the Champions League, there you go, bang. Instead of just saying, oh, you might get 60 million here, then everywhere. You pass the group stages, an extra 150 million, which it can be for the elite teams, but not for the weaker teams because they sign different contracts. It's just the way it is. So, for me, they have to. I'm still hoping this is a ply, Dave. To be honest with you, dude, I'm still hoping that this is a fucking ply to say that we're only doing this till it just before it starts, so that we can sit them down the table with us and this new fella JP Morgan that's now getting involved, and then create a new version of the Champions League while including this, and the board would have to take a vote in it. Other board members that they don't want in it will have to step down, the ones that are monopolising the situation, and then you're going to see a new style competition, probably with less teams, more money, and I think the Champions League allows beer sponsors, anyway, don't it? Because they had like Amstel and stuff and like that. So, because I know there's a lot of companies trying to get involved with beer that they can't do. So I think Liverpool and United and all these could wear a different sponsor on their jersey by just having, like, Liverpool could go back to Carlsberg on their jersey if they were in this competition, because it's outside the UEFA rulings. So, as far as I know, and that's more money again on top of that. It's all about the ownership of money, man, and it's disgusting. And they need the biggest part of this. That's what I'm saying. It's the ply stuff. The biggest part and the problem with this is not including the rest of the leagues, not including the other 14 teams, and saying, oh yeah, you can still qualify for this, or you can still do this, you can still do that. If they were reformatting the Champions League, great. Get rid of UEFA, corrupt. I've been saying it for years. Sepp Blatter and all of them, corrupt. Leave them all go. But I actually enjoyed the Champions League when I seen your man Infantino coming in and all of that. I thought there was a bit more respect to it again, because all the corruption and kind of the fellas who were involved in the corruption were kind of like showing the back door, and they weren't shown in the public eye again. But I can understand from the team's point of view that they're not making enough money. But this is the wrong way of going about it. The wrong way entirely.
Yeah, just come back to this match there, right? I'm looking at the Leeds team there. We have a fucking fairly weakened team there tonight.
Who's missing?
We've no Rafinha.
Was he not there, no?
We've Struijk playing. No, Struijk is playing in centre defence. Helder Costa's playing there. Like, these are all fucking subs for me there, like. Alioski even, you know, he's gone at the end of the season.
Is he gone? Is he over the contract or something?
Galatasaray, I think.
Ah, okay. Oh, is he old, is he? That's the only thing I think of. If somebody's in their 30s, they're going to Galatasaray. Do you know what I mean?
It's an odd move actually for Leeds player, but considering the history there, like.
Yeah, Dave says there, yeah, 100% agree, but I feel like they've pushed the board out too much on this, and maybe can't backtrack now, because the FA and the Premier League
I agree with that,
will punish these six clubs regardless.
Yeah,
they are stuck, yeah. So I say, I relegate us, do whatever you want. I don't think they can strip the titles, because that's down to the FA. The Premier League is a different entity. So I don't think they can strip the titles and the honours and stuff like that, because the honours still belong to the FA. So the FA they're just the whole of England governing body now. So unless they get involved court-wise, then I can't see anything. What kind of trapping was that? What the fuck?
that would be fairly meaningless anyway, Kev, if they have to strip anyone of titles, because at the end of the day, we all remember, like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, it
everyone
doesn't
remembers
make a difference.
who won the league. It doesn't. That's only one of those or one of those things that they just do. Would say on a piece of paper. It wouldn't matter.
I can see the points that can come. I can see a massive fine. I can see probably transfer bans domestically. So they say you have all those millions, we're not going to be able to spend it for 3 years. You know, there's a number of things they can do. As people were saying, the Premier League cannot agree with this. They might have to keep them in, but they can turn around and start giving them all Monday Night Football while they play on a Wednesday against Real Madrid and Barcelona's. You know, they can do all of that.
Friday.
Yeah, yeah. So they could do all of that. I mean, there's a number of things that they can do. It's still disgusting. This 15-team elitist bullshit. They have to come out and say, all right, we're going to revamp that, and then probably they'll get a rival to the Champions League.
You know why they can't do that, though?
Right.
Do you know why they can't do that either, though? Because those are the teams with the fucking American owners who are starting the whole bloody thing off, like.
Yeah.
And that's it. Call a spade. That's the only reason.
It's American elitism. It's something that I've hated looking at them, even in the lowest form of white trash, inbred American that I've watched online. Every single one of them have this egotistical elitism about them, that they're better than everybody else on the planet. And it's
born into them. It's something that's taught.
You know, they don't even. How do I join? I downloaded the app and accepted the link. If you're in the channel, Steve, you look down the left hand side. It'll say. Let me have a look now. It'll say general video chat, and you'll see AG Spider and Eddie Pepper's name. You click on the general video chat, and it'll bring in your voice. You have to click down below on the left hand side, and hit video, and that'll bring in your video. And then there's a button just above where it says share your screen, and that says noise suppression, and click that so that your level stays the same as us. Alright. It's probably a bit too much to say at once. Oh.
Yeah, right,
and the attack.
And I like the team there tonight. We're short a good few players there.
Oh, and when you come in, Steve, as well, before you start your video, make sure your camera's turned to landscape so that it comes up in 1920, 1080, so you look the same as us. Otherwise, it'll just look like massive grey bears at the side of you. If you do it. I've got the singular live up in the stream. I didn't even realise that. I never took that off. That's the app that I use to share. Oh, I forgot about this. What am I doing? I knew I didn't do something. Yeah. Didn't do any. What's left? What's in that there? I didn't do anything. It's been up there the whole fucking night and I didn't even do it. Oh, what's that?
Your voice, Kev, your voice.
Oh shit! That's the voice changer. All right, give me a second. I know this. It'll change again. I'm not going to talk here now in a second when I do this because it'll just change again. Did that pop up on the screen there? Oh, wait. Did that pop up on the screen there? All right. I did it again, did I? Yeah, I did above. So where are they? Well, I said that, Steve, I'll be honest with you know, Dave, I said that today, dude. I don't know, I said it wouldn't surprise me tonight if Clap said I'm fucking off. Like, I need to know more about this. I don't want to be remembered for being on this elite. Because I think... Oh, see, Klopp is this devout Christian fella. He is, right? I'm absolutely not. I'm the opposite of that, right? But he is, and that's his belief system. His system is is loyal and Christian and good and all of this kind of stuff. And that should have been a goal. Meslier was hanging around like he got a kick in the face, wasn't he? Nah. So he'll honour his contract, but he mightn't extend it if he knows where this is going. If he thinks he's going to be in a competition where this thing kind of happens, and this kind of dirtiness is at, I can't see him being a part of that.
Where does he go though?
International football, Germany.
Yeah, Germany. I don't know.
Yeah, back to German football, because they're not going to get involved with it all if they don't.
Yeah.
So
That's the one. Like,
he won't go to Bayern.
No,
But,
that's what I was going to say there. Yeah, he'd have to go back to Dortmund. Like, does he go to France? Maybe PSG.
No, Pochettino's only after taking over that. He could fuck off to Italy for a bit. He might even do Spain. You know,
Well, he
Barcelona.
He do it. Yeah.
Oh no, he can't. They'd be elitists as well. What are you saying? The elitists.
Atletico or Valencia or something.
Atletico are part of that as well. No, Atletico are part of the.
They're part of it.
Yeah, the 3 teams. Yeah, Real Madrid, Atletico came out today and said they're part of it. They're part of the 15 teams so far. So it's Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, and Barcelona.
I thought it was just the 2.
Oh, it's a tough fuck. I've been playing FIFA non-stop for the last few days, and I'm just kind of press RB, step up.
There he goes, I know. Jeez, we've nothing in the final third. Like, our final ball is brutal. They're trying to walk it in every time they get it.
Oh, well done, Sadio. Yeah, because I feel like this ESL thing is taking over the stream. We're not concentrating on the game enough.
Yeah.
Go on, Jota. Look at Sadio. It's brilliant. See, that's why I'm sitting here and kind of thinking, every person today is giving out about this and that and all of that. I've got a page on Facebook that's got a few thousand likes. That's a Liverpool page that nobody knows it's me that's running it, and I have it on the side. Because one day I'm just going to turn around and just call it Spider LFC and already have like 5,000 fans. Just for the crack, like, you know. It's the best way to do it because I'm only sharing my content on there, anyway. But like, but I've no, I forgot what I was talking about there now for a second. I thought that was going to be a volley by fucking Sadio. Talk me through again. Are you on the channel, Steve? If you're looking at the Discord, if you look down the left-hand side where it says below Spider and Friends, you keep going down, you'll find General Video Chat as a channel. You'll see that our names are underneath it. You just have to click on that General Video Chat and you're in. That means you're already talking, by the way. It'll just ask you to use your mic. Your first thing to do then is to click on the noise. I'll do that with you when you're in. So just get into there first and I'll help you after that. Just before you join anything with video, just make sure your camera, if you're on a phone, just make sure your camera's on the side. If you're on a laptop, you've no worries with that. Because it'll come up 1920 1080 or the same as 17 or 720. Oh, ball. On Andy.
That's terrible.
Oh, and Jota. Oh.
That's another player that shouldn't be playing for us tonight.
Who's that?
Helder Costa. Decent
Oh, he was
start to the
offside.
season.
He was offside, anyway.
Who was it?
Oh, look, I only saw that from the last, but I actually didn't look across the line. Would he have been onside?
Oh, jeez. Look, final ball again.
Oh, hey. Oh, don't give me a shot. Go on, Fab.
Ah.
Well done. I'm sorry, Gini's leaving at the end of the season, man. He must be having a tough season as well, man. Not feeling like he's wanted. Like, your spirits has to dip down, but he's always been professional. I have to give him that.
Who's that?
Gini Wijnaldum. Like, he's still in tie. He wants to leave. I don't know how much money. Maybe he signed for like 50 odd grand to 90 odd grand. Maybe he got a bonus. Maybe he wants to go up to 120,000, but they won't do it because he's past 30. But I heard that he wants to be on the
No,
same.
he's not
As,
getting that new contract anywhere. It's
like no, but he wants to be on the same as Salah and Mane and all them because I mean Salah's coming up to 30 as well. Thiago's just hit 30 or something. What's the crack, Steve?
I was fine.
How's it going? Have you got a camera? You sorted.
I do.
Okay.
Give me a second.
Once you should be alright just in case you have noise in the background, but if it pops up. Oh, there you go. Ah, switch. There you go. So what I can do here now is just be fair this way. Hang on. So I can bang this up in that corner.
decent ball.
Oh, hit that corner and then add image, add source. 1 second. Add new source. 1 second. And there she goes. Who? Get out my screen, you. Size of that thing. Yeah. There she does. Bang.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, you're grand, Steve. I can hear you properly. Yeah, we're getting to that. We're getting to that point now, man, where it's squeaky 10 minutes time from the fucking after the first 10 minutes.
Leeds are pushing up.
Yeah, but look at that for a ball from Roberts there again. Like, bro,
Yeah.
just load of space. Just put your foot under it.
See that? There's a big, massive gap there in midfield. Like no Leeds players.
Yeah, they're gung ho, like they play like fucking kamikaze style football. I love it about them, though.
Yeah.
It won't win your leagues. It won't win your leagues, but it'll destroy other people's league chances. Really. Yeah.
I'd rather watch that though than watch the park in the bus crowd. Like,
But I will say the exact same, right? In our league winning season, I actually preferred the football when we would have to outscore everybody else from the 2 seasons before.
Yeah.
And even when we were going to look at that. And even when we were going to the ball. And even when we were going to the Champions League fight, the one we lost against Madrid is the biggest travesty I've ever seen in my life. In a game we completely dominated. 2 mistakes from Karius fucked us, like. You know, that Bale goal was a wonder goal. Couldn't do nothing about that. But the other ones were fucking completely. And losing Salah.
Could be a penalty.
Who's that?
Penalty.
To Liverpool?
Yeah, no, to Leeds.
How?
Handball on Trent.
oh yeah, for a couple of seconds behind you there.
No, that would be played off, might say. Jesus, from that position, his hands are down to these sides.
I know, but look at the distance the ball travelled. He won't give it. No.
Nah. Hands down to sides. Oh, I'm behind you, so because we're on, I'm exactly 58, 30, 58, 40 though.
His hand moved by.
Oh, dear.
Banker, if that was Manchester United, would have been given.
Did he not give it?
He looked like he moved his hand, didn't he?
Oh, he moved it back behind him, yeah. He moved it back behind him, look. That's not a handball. Nah. It went down. He moved his hand, even tried to go behind him. Can't give it a penalty. Is he giving it?
No.
Alright. Because he's fucking he drifted his hand behind him. I mean, that's as far behind as you can get with your hand, like.
Ooh. Fuck, that was... Leeds are growing into this game, boy.
They have, yeah. Well, Milner's saying it himself that he was giving out there about a few minutes ago. Saying, like, you know, we're getting too complacent now. Where's Salah? Why isn't he on the fucking pitch?
Yeah, Salah's after being taken off, is he?
No, he wasn't even seen him start. Go.
Didn't he?
Oh. No, he didn't start. No, it was Mane, Firmino and Jota. I'd bang Salah on there now. Maybe risk Milner. Is Thiago on there? Or is it Fabinho? Oh, it would have been offside anyway.
Yeah.
Is that a fucking... Oh, Mane, what the fuck? For a player that was one of the best touches in the league, he's been a bit off the last couple of months. But he's got a goal now tonight, like. But touch-wise, I just think he's probably just burnt out, man. I never thought Sadio could get burnt out because he looked like he's a machine. Excuse me.
I think a lot of teams are bumped out by.
Ah, knackered, man.
If you think
You went straight from fucking end of July, start of August, straight into starting again in September.
it's a continuous football, and even on top of that, most teams are playing 3
'Cause
games in a week. No?
I thought it would be Liverpool. If you went by the form of last season and you went by the thing, I actually thought it was going to be Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, City. I didn't think City were going to do as well this season. And they started off bad. No, because Arsenal looked well last season. And I thought they were building well with the players that they bought. And I said maybe they'll come back into it. But I said definitely Chelsea were going to be up in second.
We're another year or two away from even getting near top 4. So, you know,
Yeah.
if it's
What's your take on this fucking ESL anyway, Steve?
look, my point is, you're better to be in it than out of it. Is one thing,
Right.
you know. But UEFA and FIFA left themselves wide open, and
Yeah.
they wouldn't give a voice to any of the clubs or anything. They wanted the most money, all that type of thing.
Yeah.
And it's up coming back to bite them.
But that's what I said when you were saying it earlier. It was absolutely expected that there was going to be some sort of football civil war with regards UEFA and FIFA, because they monopolise the whole pocket that comes in.
It was coming. It's how many years have we been hearing about the Super League?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and straight out, I think it was UEFA yesterday who released the whisper that the 12 were going to pull out, so they could cover their own Champions League format. There's no mention about their model of the Champions League. It's nearly identical to the Super League, and people are moaning about the Super League now.
Is it? No, it's not. Are you sure it's identical? Because they said it's 36 teams now instead of 20.
Yeah, there's other things to it, right? But if you look, teams who do not qualify can still qualify. Sorry,
Okay.
teams that cannot qualify. Sorry, teams that don't qualify, like in the top 4 or anything, they're
Yeah.
first, 5th, or 6th. If their coefficiency is higher,
Oh yeah, because they're going by coefficiency. Okay.
Yeah, but that doesn't eliminate. That won't eliminate someone who legitimately qualifies, though, will it?
Yeah.
no, it doesn't. But again, if you put it this way, Arsenal finished 9th. Their coefficiency is one of the highest in the Champions League. They'll qualify.
But
They'll be
they
brought
won't.
in.
They won't be taking a spot off Leicester or West Ham, though, would they?
No.
So
No.
that's what's still better about it. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is better. Yeah.
But see, I think with the Super League, right? What's not been mentioned is the amount of money that's trickling down to grassroots that they're planning on this. 490 million a year. That's
Oh, so there is money going to grassroots. That's what I was. So I wanted to see that. Yeah.
It's triple the amount of what UEFA gives.
Right.
So it is money.
So maybe these people need to come out and make an absolute press conference, stand in front and show every figure that's going to fucking happen.
See, what's happening is they're staying silent. They're leaving UEFA and FIFA and everybody else mowed off, and then they'll come out with it. I think they'll actually tweak that league as well. I think they will bring in relegation into it.
I hope they do. That's the only thing that's missing from it. If they can bring relegation into it and you have to qualify and all of that, grand. Somebody needs to rival UEFA and FIFA, but not for the sake of like if West Ham take it for most of the season in the 4th spot, they deserve it because they had a fantastic fucking season, you know.
I agree with you. But again, what this is about, it's all about money. The top 6 Premier League teams bring in the most money.
So what they're saying, as you were saying, Eddie, is that if they're doing it for the first 10 years, they want to monopolise and create a fortune fucking billion company that are run by these clubs, which means that they'll always have an influx of money coming, but then maybe introduce spending limits later so that it doesn't make it a fair game. I don't know.
I think later is the wrong time. They should start how they mean to go on. If you should have to qualify, simple as. I think if you're going to be in an elite competition, you need to be an elite team.
Yeah.
Call it spade a spade. Arsenal aren't an elite team this season. Neither are Spurs. You know, you can't. West Ham have a better argument to be in it. And
That was a
Leicester.
great tackle. How was that a free kick?
Straight. But again, right, you have to look at it, right? The 350 million that each team is going to be getting, right? That's for paying off their debts. That's for paying off. It's not all used for transfers. That's for paying their sports ground, their stadiums, and all that.
Okay.
All that straight done. Then each year it goes 89 million to 121 million. Each team will make, right? The winners of Super League will make between 200 and 250 million. Okay.
Okay, that's what they're looking for, even from UEFA. Yeah.
Yeah. On top of that, I read somewhere that financial fair play will be in with this as well, and a salary cap. So I think they're trying to balance it out. Like you put it this way, the thing about it is, right? Leeds, for instance, right? My father was a Leeds fan, right? Monstrous club. Do you know? And I guarantee you, tomorrow morning, if the Super League asks Leeds to join, they won't turn it down.
No.
They won't.
A team like those teams can't turn it down, but they didn't have a choice to turn it down. But it's because it just financially sorts their future. The thing is that the other teams that are involved in are self-sustaining, and they shouldn't have come up with the model saying the 15 teams or Salah are only going to be in it, and that's it. Are never going to be relegated. They should have never said that. They should have said this is the way it's going to go for 6 years, so that the model stays solid, and then we're going to introduce relegation. If they said that first day, then people might have gotten bored of it.
But come here. The thing about it is, they're already negotiating with FIFA about the World Club Championship tournament. Do you know?
Yeah.
So FIFA are kind of like moving off their pedestal. Oh, Jesus, what a save.
I didn't see anything. Don't tell me.
Yeah,
we're way behind here.
We're about 30 seconds behind, Jeff.
Yeah, this is fucking 67-48. Oh, this must be an attack. Is it for? Because he's only just chipped it over the ball. You know.
We're a good minute behind nearly.
We're a good bit behind it. Steve, what time are you on?
68-35.
Oh, no. We're 30 seconds. Oh, it's analysis. Yeah, I just seen it there. Great save. Alright.
But the thing about it is, right, Arsenal are in it because of their past. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's not because of no. No, we're fucking shocking at the moment. Do you know? Spurs.
What?
I still love to know how Spurs have to.
I don't have a clue.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't get this European thing with Spurs and the leaders. Yeah, it doesn't make a difference. I can understand Arsenal for having like a good 20 years around this Champions League fixture and things like that, and just being involved in general. But Spurs weren't involved in anything. I don't get that.
Leicester did a better job in Champions League than Spurs did.
Yeah.
Like the thing about it is Arsenal are the
Leeds have spent more time in Europe than Spurs have.
Probably, yeah.
They have, yeah.
They have, yeah.
I remember Viduka by sinking us on the last day of the season.
4-3, never forget.
Oh, he lost the league that year. He handed it to United.
Yeah.
But this, like, the lads could be using this now as well. To put UEFA over a barrel.
That's what they want. That's what I'm thinking. I think this is a whole ploy to fucking force UEFA's hand and say, right, we're going to revamp it. Like Premier League style.
They could have went about that a different way. But they could have just said, we're not going to fucking play in the Champions League.
But maybe if they didn't go about it, I'm going to kind of play devil's advocate here now, small, but maybe if they didn't go a different way, then maybe they would have said that, all right, if we don't frighten the fans into this, if we don't frighten other clubs into doing this, and if we don't like frighten the actual league, the organisations into thinking, oh my God, we're going to lose all revenue, we're going to lose all TV rights money, we're going to lose everything, we're going to lose everything that makes the sport. Then maybe they wouldn't have listened. They would have said, no, we put you off. And maybe they've been doing that for years. Oh no, we're going to create this league. We're going to do this. So you better listen to us. And then if you don't listen to us, maybe they have to go and do this to maybe force it to be revamped again straight away. I don't know. But I don't know.
UEFA's plan as well is there's no more group stages. It's one
Yeah.
big massive league.
Okay, that's a bit fucking. I
Yeah,
get the 10-man league thing. I don't know. It's a bit much though, man. Because you're killing domestic competitions then with that. To be honest with you, I'd rather see it in a knockout format. To be honest with you, like I like the 4-man teams and stuff like that. But that's about it. 2 seconds still, lads. I have to go for a piss. Each other.
UEFA are actually doing more damage than what the Super League is at the moment. You know.
They made mistakes along the way. I think the first mistake they ever made was allowing the team who finished 4th in England to be into the Champions League. You know, when you think about it on paper, what's the Champions League, or what should it be? It should be the best teams. How can you say 4th in England is better than 1st in whatever, Czech Republic or somewhere, you know? Can you actually say that?
But see, the thing about it is, I always believe the winners of the FA Cup should went straight into.
I think so, yeah. And if not, if the winner of the FA Cup was the winner of the Premiership, what about letting the team who finished second in the FA Cup, the runner-up, do nothing wrong with that either, like?
You know, it's yeah. They used to do that a couple of years back. Do you remember that? If you're in the Carbone Cup or whatsoever, if Man City won it, the team that was playing them would end up in Europe, qualifying stages and the whole lot. Like, you know,
It's a better system. It's better, like.
Football sold their soul. All this, it's all money. Do you know? And Gary Neville there on what's the name tonight?
Spot on, buddy.
I don't think he was. He can't.
Oh, which one? No, yesterday's one or today's one? I didn't see today's one. I didn't see today. I seen this morning's one.
Today. I honestly, he's talking out through his arse because again, Sky don't give a shit about the fans.
No.
They are putting game fucking 200 miles away on a Monday night where fans can't get a train home or anything like. You know what I mean? It's not. He's looking for people to mobilise and everything in the whole lot. Nah. All he's doing now is towing the line Sky Sports because they're going to lose a fortune.
Exactly, that's the point. They're going to have to spend more to get onto this league or this new system than anybody else because they're the elite of the elite and they're going to be fleeced.
BT Sports paid a fortune for the Champions League, and if
Champions League,
you don't really have a Champions League. Do you know?
Yeah.
Are you going to go? Do you know? It's like Sky BT. They destroyed the football in the country.
Oh shit! We're going to talk. Where will you ever talk in the freaking YouTube chat? I can't see anything you're writing until I check my phone. There's no money. No, Wayne did. He said there's no money going to the grassroots. Did they come up with that in the statement?
Yeah.
I know JP Morgan's funding it, the broadcasting and dazing, and there's nothing to do grassroots. It's a billionaire's buy club. I get that, yeah. But if there was money going to any grassroots that they haven't announced yet, I'd like to see. I want to see the full plans. I want to see what the tournament plans are. I don't care what it is. To be honest with you, I want to see what they're going to do about redistributing the money. That's all I care about.
Okay,
Who's going to see
this? Right? Huge figures going to youth grassroots and women football yearly if the European Super League goes ahead.
Oh shit,
Far
that's
more
very
than what
nice.
UEFA is currently offering.
I make one because there's 2 mics.
I have it here now. The Super League goes ahead. They will have a solidarity fund for youth football, grassroots football, and women's football that is worth 434 million a year.
434 million.
Solidarity fund contributes
Come on.
worth 160.
Oh, crossbar!
Jesus, yeah. Don't go back. Jesus Christ almighty. Come back, get out of it! For fuck's sake, would you release it? Come back and run up the pitch like Lovren with a fucking...
Oh.
You alright, guys?
It's a tense affair, man. It's always a great game between these two clubs, man. I don't give a shit. It's like good, like. Like, if there's no reason to fight, I just want to see a good game now, man. If there's nothing going on with fucking Champions League football or whatever like that, then I just want to see good football. I want to see my team play good football, like, you know. And I just don't. I want to see what happens after that. What the fuck? What excuse are the owners going to come up with to say that it justifies, you know, screwing over the fans for this? I'll deal with that another day. But right now, I want to watch the football team play football, and I couldn't give a shit about that league.
But see, Kev, the owners in America, but
Oh no! I don't get me wrong, dude. I'm a lover of American movies and a hater of Americanisms. It's that simple. I hate everything that America stands for. I hate everything that they think is right to think about. This constitution that they live by, that they spout to the rest of us, that we have no clue and say, like, what's that got to do with us?
oh Jesus, what a save!
Oh, don't kill me!
Oh,
That's it. What about Bobby? What is that? No, Bobby. 76 or 6. Oh, no, is that Allison, is it?
We're behind there still.
We're way behind.
oh, Leeds should have fucking scored.
Boys.
Becker shave off his mustache, did he?
It happened a couple of weeks ago, yeah.
Anyone else would have scored it. Fucking cunt.
What a save. What a save. What a freaking
Aye, come here. A different striker there, I was buried.
Allison is back on form. That's only boding well for us because he's just saving us still left, right, and centre.
He kicked it in his chest, boy. That's a shocking shot.
It is.
If he put
I don't care. He's still there
right-
though. If that was Allison there a couple of months ago, Allison would have hit his chest up off his chin, rolled up his nose,
Yeah.
and gone in.
It was like a target, boy. That was a brutal shot.
So, lads, just to clarify there with you,
Yeah.
the Solidarity Fund is there. 434 million
Yeah.
is what is given to the Super League.
Go on. Don't say anything if they score. Oh, that's a terrible ball.
And what's name gives 160 a year, 160 million.
Who's that?
UEFA.
UEFA. Okay.
UEFA.
So so UEFA only give 160 million a year to the grassroots in England.
No,
Okay.
160 million. Yeah, 434 will be given with the Super League.
Okay, well that's already an advantage, but
But
I still that's
country. How does that work? Who's getting that? Just England?
That
Yeah.
will be England's.
it will go by probably go by you know the stature of each league and the formats of each league, because some leagues only have maybe 3 levels, or leagues have 4 levels, so you might see like maybe it wouldn't be the German league, maybe like the Italian league would probably see 280 million or something like that, because of they only have like 2 and a bit divisions and double teams. Spanish league would be something similar because they've got like secondary teams of Barcelona and stuff playing down there like a training team, and they couldn't split the difference. Like that was pretty much like giving it to Barcelona back again, and that's like fucking money laundering, to be honest with you.
There was a document. No.
Oh, for that.
Oh, Salah. Oh, the corner.
No.
Yeah.
Brutal.
The fuck was Meslier doing there, man?
He's been told to play out from the back all the time. He should fucking.
Yeah, but I mean, jeez, if he can't do it, why does he do it?
Oh.
Which app are you watching it on, Steve? Because I might skip ahead and just change the time.
I'm on Sky Sports there, but
I'm same, but I'm on the same thing as you, cookies. But I'm only on the fucking 79-minute, 30-second every gigabit internet. So I'm like, what the fuck's going on there?
I'm on 80.
Oh. Oh, get in! Oh, Meslier, you prick.
Super keeper.
Where that keeper is fabulous.
He is. He's a good
Great.
keeper.
What nationality is he?
Don't know, man, but he looks like he's from Knocknaheeny.
French, isn't he?
Doesn't he? He looks like he's from Knocknaheeny.
I think he's French.
Doesn't he? Alright, bye. Alright, bye. Can I get in there? Oh, for fucking Miller shooting all night, man, just to score against his fucking home club.
He's trying to get into the first team in Leeds for next season, see?
Oxford Jota. See, Ox now fucking scoring a worldly on it. Ox will shoot down from fucking Sheffield. He's like that kind of fella. He'll just shoot from fucking anywhere. CCTV, decent discussion. Sorry, decent chat, lads. Alright, nice one. It is, yeah. Well, I mean, we added all. We did have another Arsenal support as well in earlier. Steve, Kev was in there, but his connection's been screwing up. So our goalie, I should say, and we were meant to have Dean as well, who's an Everton fan. But we're going to get these discussions going over the next week or so anyway. You got the Newcastle game next week, so before that I want to get a few people on and have an old chat as well about that. But that's an early kick-off though, so that could be like an early watching a match chat-along thing before we all have to go shopping with the missus. You know what I mean? So to unload the car and stuff like that, so that could be a good one next week. At the moment, the channel that we're doing with the lads is called Lads of Football. And well, I don't know whether that's a wise thing to do because we are going to start covering other sports as well. So it mightn't be the best road to take, but the football side of it could be that. Even for years, man, Leeds at home for me is you know, or sort of Leeds away for us. But you know, them being at home for me has always been one of the toughest games that I've ever watched in the last fucking 30 years, like, you know.
You're only after watching one of them in the last 30 years, man.
I know, but I know half of that. But like even that, I can only go for that. Even when we played them in the cup there a couple of times, and
Yeah.
and so go on, Ox, how you doing, bye? It's ours. Well done. How would you get away with that? I thought the ball went over the play with these feet.
I think this will play out to be 1-0.
Could be.
Yeah, looks like it. Looks like it.
Right, there's a smell of surprise off it as well. Go on, look at that. Salah.
Liverpool are back in the top 4, so again, are they?
Oh well, it will be if they win tonight. Yeah. Most calm discussion of the new ESL. It's kicked off elsewhere. Will spread the word. I appreciate that, CCTV. 1984. Like we're trying to make sense of what it's about and maybe where it goes in the future. I mean, there was a lot of, believe me, dude, I did a video earlier and I was fuming about it because I don't want it to exclude other teams in the league that have a history as long as these 6 teams have, and I just
Longer. Yeah, they could call a spade by longer. You know, you look at teams from England who've won the Champions League and they're not even in the discussion.
yeah, pretty much. Well, yeah, well, it's some of them, yeah, but like,
rightfully so. We shouldn't be talking about Notts Forest being in it, but at the same time, if we're basing something on history, like we're basing it on the last 10 years, is it, or 15
What?
years?
Salah, is he offside? Bang!
Why didn't you?
Oh, it's just that it's CCTV 1984. So I don't know what is there an easier thing to call it than that? I can't keep going. I don't want to call you CC either because that's very womanly. But like
At the end of the day, we have to look at the details of the league. Nothing. We're hearing this. There's no.
Steve, as long as you know me and you see me talking whenever I do online, and like you might correct me in a couple of things when I'm doing it, but or even you know at the point I'm trying to make, I could be winding somebody up or I could be doing something. But I never come in there with my own opinion. It's always about facts. It's always about what we see that's written on paper. There's no bullshitting about it. There's no pretending of what something is. Like for me, I love Liverpool Football Club, you love Arsenal, you love Leeds. Now I know Leeds is not in the discussion at the moment with this ESL thing. I hope they will be in the future. But with regards to this, it's not Arsenal FC's fault. It's not Liverpool FC's fault. It's not any of the players, not the club's fault. It's not the fans' fault. Anything like that. It's the owners. And the owners are tending to do this. Now, unless they've got some sort of plan where they say we're going to do this elite thing, and maybe for a couple of years it'll be elite, and then it'll become something that we can afford to oust UEFA.
There's a goal.
Ah, shit, it's a corner off the Leeds. Fuck's
Go to get Leeds,
sake.
go. Get in. Fucking best team in England. Hey, get us into that discussion there quick.
Unmarked by. Right into the space, bang.
We'll do fine, man. And that.
Ah, beautiful.
Let's go goal.
Some head now, young fella.
Oh, it's gone to VAR.
I was going to VAR for it.
I'm only messing.
Alright. I was about to say, I just seen a clean header. Give me fucking hope there, eh?
But the thing about it is, right? You listen.
This is me. To me, I don't care. It's just I was wanting top 4 football, and yesterday morning I was looking forward to playing Leeds and trying to go for top 4 football, taking over West Ham. This is the excitement for this week. No, I have no excitement. I have. Oh yeah, it's not a game. It's just a few lads no playing on the pitch, no passion, that's no goal, is it?
The biggest problem, I think, like that's the biggest problem with the whole thing. I think is giving someone the divine right to be in it on no merit from the season to the qualifying season. To have no qualification for it is the biggest mistake. It's the worst thing about it for me. I mean, give the money to grassroots football, brilliant. A new competition, that's exciting, fantastic, great for neutral fans. But to give anybody, especially teams who are finishing mid to low table in the Premier League, a 10-year ticket into this thing is just ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. That has to go. That has to go. If they're going to do anything about it, it's got to go.
There can't be a founding members bullshit. It has to be. Let's make it that
It's
the
America.
top teams are in it.
We're going to say we will keep repeating it, and maybe that should be the hashtag American elitism. It has to go American capitalism, whatever the way you want to fucking think. That's exactly what this is all about,
How can you just how can you actually say that? And I keep harping on about them. It's not that I don't like them. I like Spurs, but I think they're a nice team to watch.
But they don't deserve
them
it.
over the last few seasons. I like watching Arsenal. I loved Arsenal with the Invincible season. That was amazing. But they don't deserve it at the moment. Like calling a spade, they shouldn't be there. If it's going to be called, and you keep saying the word elite, Kev, we can't call it elite if you've got a team finished in.
I know.
And said.
Well, I do it in quotations every time I try to say it.
I know
It's
that.
It's shit.
I don't know how they're even selling it. How do they have a selling point for it? Like Paddy Power took it up today there by he said, Spurs and Arsenal are signing up to be the whipping boys in an elite competition.
Yeah,
and it's tongue in cheek, funny, but it's true enough.
It's very true, like. So is AC Milan, and so is what you call. Maybe they'll be the mid-table teams, let's say, over in AC Milan, and a fucking thing. Juventus will be just at the tip of that mid-table team because they've got aging players. They've got nobody. They're involved in this, and they've pushed this because they've got nobody. They had their Dybalas, they had their times there. They've got nobody to replace the money they've spent on Ronaldo. That fleeced that club. It destroyed them, and they've got nobody left to fund them the money. So all they can do is just say, let's go into this thing for a couple of years, play absolutely shit. And I mark my words, if they go into this thing, Juventus will finish like second to second last. I think they'll be fucking awful in this league. I think AC Milan and Inter will do better.
But see, what people, like you're saying, Arsenal will be the whipping boys, Spurs will be...
No, I think they'll be mid-table in it.
No, that's tongue-in-cheek. Paddy Power says that already.
Oh yeah, but what I'm saying is, there's 2 leagues, not just one.
Yeah,
there's 2 groups.
2 separate groups. Yeah. And I do enjoy that value in it, but I don't enjoy the fact that only 5 people. What the fuck is that? What was that, Alison? That only 5 people get to qualify, or 5 teams get to qualify, and the rest have to just walk in there.
I agree. As an Arsenal fan, the last couple of years hasn't been fucking the best. But the
It
only
suits
reason
you.
we
It
have
suits a team like you, but it's also disgusting to agree to it as a fan. It's also, but it doesn't suit. Why we're in there, I don't understand it. I don't get it. We're self-sustaining.
see,
I
it's
don't
not,
get it.
it's the fact how much money have we all lost during this COVID? Do you know? That's what it is. We
The same percentage amount as every other business has lost in their percentage amount. It's just it's what these lasses are going to do. I get that in their format it's hundreds of millions. In their format it's hundreds of thousands, but it's still the same percentage amount because they haven't been open.
Neville made a point earlier. Again, I said it earlier that he was saying that if you're Man United and your fans are paying £1 each to watch your games of football every season, or whatever, you make 190 or 180 million a game if you can sell that many tickets or whatever. I'd gladly pay €1 a game to watch Leeds every week. I'd say a Wolves fan would gladly pay €1 a game to watch Wolves.
Yeah.
So actually, the clubs have that power themselves if they just got rid of Sky Sports.
Yeah.
You know
It's what it is. It's
like don't sell your TV rights to a big TV company. Sell them to the fans.
Yeah.
What would be wrong with it?
But see,
simple as.
That's also on the PowerPoint thing about each team will get 5 games where they can show on their channel.
Their own thing, yeah, and that's what your mum's
Oh,
talking
go
about.
on. Go on.
You know? Which would be a good thing.
Go
in
on.
its own sense as well, you know what I mean?
Ox. Ah.
But what's actually happening is you're actually taking BT Sport and you're taking Sky out of this
Yeah.
because it's Disney and it's what's the name, Amazon.
Disney
that
and
will be showing.
oh yeah, it's going to be all of these ways, and they want that, and that's Americanism. That's American capitalism again. It's just all the same. It's the same. It's American capitalism funding American capitalism, and nobody else sees the benefit of it. You know, so
Do you know
like,
where-
sorry, no, if I have to quote one of the lads there on the chat. So like the CCTV says the relegation will come in time. It's about kicking up the dirt for now. Do a negotiation strategy. Maybe, yeah. I mean, we said that earlier at CCTV. We think it might be applied just to bring in UEFA and say change our format and involve the clubs on the board. So many of the richest 20 clubs are Premier League size, top tier football in Europe, would be better with more teams in it. All due respect to Shamrock Rovers, to Legia Warsaw size clubs. Yeah, we get that. But it's also still that's taking out the fairy tale option for the other clubs. So there's a kind of an agree and a disagree there. So if you're talking about elitism, why not qualify the top teams into the Champions League and allow everyone else to try and qualify from Wickham to St. Pat's? You could do that as well, man. There's a lot of options to do it. Like
there is one possibility.
yeah,
That this contract that they signed for 10 years, I think there's a review after 5 or 6 or something.
Yeah.
From what they were saying, could be just so they get the foundations. banged
that's
that they
exactly. I think that's what everybody that's not fuming about it is rationally thinking, right? So like I was fuming at the start. I think it's fucking ridiculous, but I think all right, if they're going to try this format out and maybe they can review it after, they say 6 years, but maybe they'll review it after 2 or 3 if it's successful. And then all of a sudden they bring in the relegation and they do all of this thing, or they lengthen out the amount of teams that can qualify, and maybe some of these teams that we don't even know about are all like, we're founding members, they're delighted to post it, but they're only involved in it for 5 years, or they've only paid into it as founders for 4 to 5 years, and it guarantees them a revenue back because they've gotten involved in it. And what is that?
Game over there,
It's all over.
It was a 1-1. Aye. It was it was a good game.
It was a good game.
It was a deserved result, I think, at the end of the day. Oh, sorry, I didn't even see that, Dean. Jesus, man, I skipped you. Great chat, lads. You know, all right. Dean says, "Great chat, lads. You know your stuff. More of it. Looking forward to Carragher and Neville debate after the game. Sheffield Wednesday, League One next year. Soul destroying. Dean, I know, dude. Like,
My brother Anthony's a Sheffield Wednesday fan.
Huh?
My brother Anthony.
Is he? Is he a Sheffield Wednesday fan? Isn't he? I remember that. Oh, Jesus, Dean says Sheffield Wednesday are bigger than Leeds. Oh, Jesus, what's going on about it? I don't know.
I don't know, Dean. I think we just got to draw Liverpool in the Premier League, though.
I mean, that's all. I mean, the proof is in the pudding there, like, you know. So, Dean, I see the lads are just a bit into their chat and get into comments later. Yeah, no, sorry, man. Do you know what? Normally, no, I would have, if I was on OBS, I haven't got my Streamlabs alerts turned on. So the minute that you would normally message, it would go bing in my ear, and I would see it pop up in the chat or whatever like that, you know. Dean Cronin says 6-0, Eddie, or something. Yeah, you see smirked at that anyway, whatever that means. I know what that means. But look, lads, that was a fair result there today. I can give you, I mean, apparently now we're out of Europe. There's nothing even to fight for. I hope West Ham and fucking Leicester and Everton and fucking Leeds, which is going to be them, go in and enjoy fucking the Champions League next year and do it well. Do you know,
I hope that doesn't happen. The other side of that is I don't want to see, you know, Leeds fan, I don't want to see a subpar Champions League. We're not ready for that. You know, I'm a Leeds fan.
You will be over 150 million in your pocket going into it.
I don't think so, but I think, you know, we talked about it earlier about buying tournaments and stuff like that, and buying, like, it's the wrong way to do it. I like, as much as it'd be brilliant to see Leeds in the Champions League again and living the high life, if we're going to be going in there and not playing against Real Madrid and not playing against Barcelona, and not playing against whoever, that's what you're going there for. Like.
I know.
You're going there to play them teams, like.
I appreciate that,
no
CCTV. Nice one, man.
It will be a subpar competition.
It is, and that, I think they're trying to push it down to Europa League level, is what they're trying to say about the Champions League.
Looks like it.
You know, they're going to say that no matter who finishes what way in the league, it's going to be the best 4 of the rest. Or if somebody finishes third, even if they win the league, they're still going to go into the Europa League because they're not part of this group of players, you know. So it's yeah, it's just a weird one, like.
But see, question is, who's the other 8 teams that are going to go into that Super League?
No, yeah.
Well,
that's the question. No.
Bayern is one. RB Leipzig are going to go in there no matter what. I know the league is run by 51% of the fans, but they're dying to get into this. It's Red Bull.
Yep.
Huh?
After all the flack, no. Who's gonna jump on that now, Lisa?
None of them. If I was them, I wouldn't.
Yeah, unless, as you said, unless the league comes out with a very concrete statement. This is what we're doing, and this is how we're running it.
Like Dean says it there. That's been a statement that's been in nearly every fan base on every flag around the place. The poor created football, and the rich robbed it.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean that's exactly what this is about as well this season. Now I'm going to say this again, lads, and I say it to Dean, I say it to CTV and the boys there, right? Don't blame the clubs themselves for this. None of the staff that are involved, not even the directors knew that this stuff was happening, right? It was the owners sitting with their fucking cigars, their Cubans and their things, chatting on yachts, meeting up in Switzerland, having the ball, having a bit of crack and fucking playing it over golf, and just deciding how can we fuck up this and make it to our substandard. They don't give a shit about what the fans think about this sport. They don't care, but they're going to find out about it because I know there's nobody going to stop and leave it like this. Unless they have a fucking massive U-turn and say, all right, we're going to take on UEFA, but we are going to include other clubs. I can't see it working. I can't see anybody supporting it. I can't see it working in that way, in any way, shape or form. Yeah.
See, the thing about it is, right, this tournament, the Real Madrid president, Perez, is it?
That fucking egotistical prick. Yeah.
This is his baby.
Yeah.
Right? He saw the opportunity with the American owners, right? Right? I'm sitting here, right? And I'm going to turn around and tell you, if there's going to be another English team that will come into this, I'd keep an eye on. Is Randy Lerner still the owner of
Aston Villa?
Aston Villa?
I think he might be. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. You know, I was looking at that as well. You could look at things like that. I don't know. Yeah, look.
There's still 8 teams to be added to this.
Yeah.
Bayern and Leipzig are sitting back and watching it. Paris Saint-Germain, they're not going to screw up this because they know if they do it, then Qatar, the World Cup, might get.
I'll try to know, Steve, and I'll be honest with you, right? Arsenal haven't done well in the last few seasons. Spurs, not at all. Even though they've been in the Champions League, they got to the final, they did whatever. They have done okay, but they're not the elitist European club, right? Do you think there'd be this much backlash if it was Liverpool, United, City, and Chelsea that went into this league, and then everybody else had to do their thing. Do you think there'd be this much backlash?
I wouldn't have as much of a problem with it.
Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't think many people would even fucking bat an eyelid if Arsenal and Spurs weren't involved in it, because of the way they've been for the last, I don't know how many years. Arsenal, if you said that to me in 2008, Arsenal would have been well in the fray, and I would have said, oh, there has to be the top four with them in it. No City.
Like, you'd still have questions. Look at the league table tonight. You'd still say, well, look, Leicester and West Ham have earned it this season, or are earning it so far this season. You'd still have questions, but I'd have less of an issue, honestly.
I think a lot of people would, and I think it'd be questioned less. But then they'd kind of say, well, as long as, okay, we'll have a look at this, but as long as they include other clubs going forward. I can see that they're trying to build a stature of a competition going, so that they have these elite clubs in there, so that they bring in the funding, they bring in the TV money, they do all of that, and then they say, all right, now it's open to everybody.
Are they starting too big? So, are they starting too big? If that's the case, would they not have been better off saying top 2 teams in France, England?
Or I would have just gone with champions only.
Even top 2, Kev, you could argue that.
You could, if you wanted to
if
think
United
that.
and City went into this season, and everyone was after saying, "Oh yeah, we'll go into the next season," like you wouldn't have an argument.
I don't think there wouldn't be much of an argument. Actually, there wouldn't be, because if you're thinking in all these leagues, 5 leagues, you got the 5 major leagues, you got 10 teams, but then you're going to have to get them for somewhere else. So then you would go the 10 teams, and then maybe all the cup competition winners.
And what would be wrong with adding to it every season? We'd say that if Man City and Man United went in this season, and then we bring in the team that finishes third next season.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Because you'd say, these are the clubs that have the same way that the UEFA Champions League works. It just depends on who's running it.
Maybe keep it at 12, starting
off
this year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Bring in another body from England, another body from Spain.
They shot too high too fast. They overdid it, and it looks like an ego break rather than a real thing that could invite fans in, and even a neutral fan would have enjoyed it.
I'd still lay the blame at UEFA and FIFA.
Oh, massive! Oh, it's completely started out with their fault. But then they've allowed well, also I'd have to say that the Premier League now have to be small but complacent by saying they're allowing the Yanks to take over most of the clubs, which is disgusting as well.
Not only that, they allowed the boys into Man City, right? They allowed Abramovich into Chelsea. They allowed him to spend money that the club wasn't earning.
Yeah.
They did it with Paris Saint-Germain, the whole lot. Look at FIFA then giving the World Cup to Russia, giving it to Qatar. That's not sporting merit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was all money. They were all brown envelopes and the whole lot.
Right. So
the World Cup in Qatar was a joke, like.
Yeah. Oh, that's ridiculous. That's just money. That's just fucking money. But look at this, right? I as a Liverpool fan, I don't know if you know too much about it, right? We had one of our best CEOs come in years, in Peter Moore. He came from FIFA, or from EA, creating FIFA games and doing all that kind of stuff. And he came and he was fantastic. He's been a Liverpool fan since he was a kid. He's been a Liverpool fan since he was a kid, and he's been an advocate about being like great for Liverpool, all this and that. All of a sudden, a few months ago, he decides, yeah, look, I'm just going to have to give up my role, and I'll hand it down to use and whatever like that. And then he just kind of went, no, I kind of have to go. And there was no structure about it, whatever like that. But I think it's because of this situation that he knew was coming, and I think that he left the club knowing that this was going to happen months in advance. And
the Super League, as you said earlier, the Super League has been in discussions and has been whispered about, and has been. We all knew it was going to happen at some stage. It's just the way they went about it was the wrong thing. If you want to fight a big company or a big organisation like FIFA, and you want to fight against UEFA, and you want to say, "Look, lads, you're messing it up. We've a better way." Don't come up with a terrible way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if
exactly.
you're trying to come up with an alternative to a terrible way of running football, it shouldn't be a terrible way of running football. Like. It should be. They should have started smaller. Get everyone in the Premiership to sign up for it, lads. If he come first or second in the Premier League, you get into this Super League, and we'll give you 400 million or whatever it is to get into it. Then that's the right way to do it.
Yeah.
Simple as. There's no other way about it. Like.
All right, lads, give me 1 second to go for a piss, and then we can wrap this up. Hang on.
See Bamford there giving his post-match interview. He is always out of breath.
great striker, though.
Do you know what? I think he gets an awful lot of flack. He gets too much of a hard time there sometimes. He got a hard time off the Leeds fans there, even this season, saying he could have converted more of the chances. But to be fair, like I said it to Kev earlier, I think our problem this year isn't converting chances. It's actually getting a final ball into the box. We're making chances, but they're only kind of half chances or bits and pieces, like, you know.
Jesus, he took us apart at the end. I remember
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah. But they're doing that, like they make a few chances, but like as far as missed chances goes, he's up there with the top strikers who have missed chances, we'd say, as well as scored them. But I think most of them were like, you know, passes behind him where he was off balance, or I don't know, trying to get the ball out of his feet or something like that. You know, I think he gets a bit too much of a hard time. I think put him into any team there this season, he'd have a load of goals. Like.
Yeah. Jesus, Gary Neville doesn't look nice. It doesn't look well at all. Sure he does.
He's livid, boy. He's given out a couple of days now.
Aye, what are they saying?
Just
That was just Bamford interview there.
What is that?
There was a Bamford interview there. I'd say they're talking about the match still.
Kev, take a look at Neville there now when he comes on. He doesn't look well at all, boy.
Oh, he looks stressed as fuck, doesn't he? He looks fucking sick as hell. And
Yeah.
he was the same yesterday when he was discussing about that, man. I think he's genuinely sick to his stomach of what he's after seeing.
He's disgusted.
I think he's after back. Like I'm telling you, I was sitting there last night and I was going to sleep and I was fucking trembling in my chest. Morals is a dying breed, Dean says there, man. It is like I was sitting there with fucking trembles in my chest as I was going to sleep there, and I couldn't go to sleep, so I kept reading shit and I kept going like that, and it was like I felt like a fella with DTs. That's how bad I felt like when I was after hearing that news last night. And the last time I felt like, well, I'll be honest with you, I felt like it twice this year. My uncle died a few weeks ago because cancer and all that kind of stuff, but only because pretty much he was stabbed in the back. But it was that was the last time I felt like that, and before that, I never kind of had that kind of thing. But I felt it twice in the same 4 months, and I'm just like, it's absolute fucking heartbreak is what that is. Watching the sport, you're thinking that, oh, it's getting away from you. Like, I'm thinking the future, is my sport going to look the same as what I love watching week in, week out? Or, like, do I have to find something completely else to do that I just can't fill my time with? Or that I can't love as much as what I do when I watch Liverpool play? Like, you know, it's just, it's weird, man. I can't fathom it, and I don't want it to go down that road where I hate the sport I love, to be honest with you. You know, it's just weird. I think that's what most fans are worried about.
Going back to that game there, he's just after asking Milner the question there, is that a missed opportunity tonight? That's the second time I've heard Sky Sports interviewing a player after a Leeds match and asking the opposition, is it a missed opportunity tonight? Like, we're not a fucking pushover team. Like, we're after proving that all season. I think they have no respect, like.
Like we had a lot of chances, but at the same time it was an earned draw because you had a good dominant 10-minute spell at the start of the second half and a good 20-minute spell after that.
I took a picture of the stats there, it's telling, like, we 61% possession for the game, distance covered 114 kilometers, touches in near box 29, tier 43. Randy, you have more touches in the box. Expected goals, we were 2.5, tier 1.5.
Yeah.
Shots on target 7.5 TE, which is fairly even.
Yeah, the clear chances. Like, you had so many clear chances to win. Like, you had so many clear chances to win it.
Yeah, but like 61% possession, and the first fucking question he asked James Milner there is that a missed opportunity tonight?
I think it's
what kind of question is that? Like?
It's a stature thing. Exactly. This is why Sky fills this elitist bullshit. That's what I'm saying to you. There's no, they can't just analyse the two teams that were playing football on the pitch that night. They have to turn around and say, all right, because you're champions.
And this is off the back of a beaten City last week as well with 10 men.
I don't get that. Like,
how is it a missed opportunity? There was 11 of us playing tonight.
For the way we've been playing for months on end, that's a great result for us because of the simple fact that you did beat City with 10 men last week. It just, you know, for your week, you've just beaten City with 10 men and then drawn with Liverpool, who are the champions, current champions. And the champions, you've beaten the champions elect and drawn with the current champions within the same week.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense either to me. It's Sky Sports are always, do you know what? They're these bitches that create drama between groups of friends. You know, these fucking muppets that
Yeah.
say this person says that to that person, and we have to do it so that the ratings come in. That's what Sky Sports is. It's a Rupert Murdoch thing, man. It's the sun. It's everything. It smells of it. You know, there's a stink off it. And I think, you know, huh?
Just an update there now as well on the referees.
Yeah.
The Super League. The Super League wants to put microphones on each referee to explain their decisions to the public in a total transparent way.
Okay.
And there would be an alternative to VAR.
Okay.
What's the alternative to VAR?
I think the way I've been saying it for fucking months, the one that's in Holland that works, and then you'll see Ajax coming on board. Or being allowed in, or doing something like that. Or at least the Dutch league getting their champion to come in. Because the way it works in VAR in Holland is that they tick in the lines with offside. So if the lines overlap each other by anything that's not up to 90%, then it's onside, because they take moment. What they've done is that UEFA have said no, you have to have the defender line at this space and the line for the attacker at a dot space. So whatever the dots come down, that becomes the line. So it's a skinnier line for the attacker, and they don't give the benefit to the attacker. But if you do it where the lines are even but they overlap and are thicker, it means they take momentum into play, and then they say, all right, that's the benefit to the attacker.
I think. Do you know what I think is even a simpler solution to VAR? You know, the way they're checking, like Leeds got a goal disallowed this year because Bamford pointed and his armpit was offside. If he had touched the ball with his armpit, give it as an offside. If he doesn't,
that's common sense. They won't listen to common sense. If it's the part of the body that was offside, it should be offside. If they did that could probably rule out them having to do any thicker lines.
Fixes it.
Yeah, it fixes it. Just if it's the part of the body that's offside that scored, then it's offside.
Yeah, there you go. If his head is offside and he scores with a header,
or give him an advantage. So if his chest was offside and then he went in later and he was a bit offside and he dropped it down with the chest onto the foot, it's offside. You know,
offside,
so
exactly.
So I get it. So I get that, man, and that's common sense. And the problem is these lads are not listening to fucking common sense. They're only doing exacts. And Hawkeye should be an independent runner of this. They do it in tennis where it is exact. But all they can do is let them run the technology and leave the referees away from it, and then leave the referees look at it on screen, and then say, here you go, la. There's a fucking a double tick line that are overlapping each other. The Eredivisie do it perfectly well, where they say that if the two lines overlap each other, that's fine. But you look, and if the lines overlap each other by above 90%, so that means that the person's offside by more than 90% on that line, then they're offside. That's more than momentum can do, or is it 88% or something like that. But then it takes away the fact that somebody's knee is offside over somebody's armpit. It takes away the fact that you know what it does is that it brings it back to the hip, to basically here being offside the whole way down. And that works. And I don't know what Gary Neville is saying, but the fuck. Jesus, Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville look like they've aged in about 3 days. They both look like they've aged, man.
They're on about the Abu Dhabis.
But they've a huge involvement in this, man. Massive. Like if it's the Yanks and them, like everybody thinks that they're different caliber. They're both the same.
But go back there to the offside rule there that we're on about.
Yeah.
Did you see Saka? Did you see Cabellas' goal yesterday for Arsenal?
No, I didn't know.
Saka was ruled offside because his right toe, his right boot, his toe was offside.
Yeah.
What's his toe?
That.
If you actually see it, was scandalous.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want to go back to even more scandalous, Steve, just look at Mane's offside against Everton when Henderson scored a 3-2 to win it. Mane was well onside. Do you know, the worst thing that I've ever seen in my entire life is Roberto Firmino last season against Aston Villa. The line didn't go straight down, it went like that. It went like fucking that across the screen because your man was in the thing, and he did it to like 4 or 5 other teams he didn't like. And what's your man's name? The fellow who always gives right cars. Jesus. grey haired fella. He's coming into his last couple of seasons, so he wanted to screw everybody over that complained about him. Oh, see the
Chris Moy.
what?
Chris Moy. No.
No, just he's a fucking DJ. What's your man's fucking name? The grey haired fella that Martin Atkinson. So Martin Atkinson is the fellow who just like screws over every club now in the last couple of years that have complained about him or put in a report about him like 10 years ago when he first started, or 15 years ago when he first started. He's been like adamantly doing it. So he was on VAR against Aston Villa when Roberto Firmino was deemed offside, but he was actually like nearly, I think it was a quarter yard onside, but the line went like fucking that, man. Do you know, it went like that, and even Hawkeye came out and condemned that result, and David Coote and everything and all them were involved in that. It was a ridiculous thing. And it was the same with, like, if VAR was there a couple of seasons before that. Do you remember Liverpool went 2-1 up against Spurs in the in like the last minute of the game at Anfield when Salah like the shimmy to him and scored into the top corner, close range, and then Harry Kane went up and was given a penalty on the other side, even though they said that only if Lovren touched it was going to be a penalty. And he didn't touch it, but he still gave it. And the fucking linesman, who was a United fan, was sitting in the corner, and when he gave it, the man went like fucking this into the crowd. The fucking linesman. I mean, that tells you like it. I can understand why some of the clubs would do this. I would prefer if all 20 came out in the league and went together and just said, the referees are pricked, UEFA's are pricked, everything's corrupt, let's change it all and just get it back, or we go on strike. That would have been a better fucking outcome than any of this shit. Do you know, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's what would have happened if it was the clubs trying to take it back.
Yeah.
But like the facts, this isn't clubs trying to take the leagues back or anything like that. This is
it's corrupt owners.
This is guys with money trying to make more money.
Yeah.
That's it.
It is. You know, I'm a Liverpool supporter, and I'm trying to find a logical a football logical explanation to why this is happening. I mean, you have to be thinking the same, Steve. You know, like, you love your club and you're trying to sit there kind of going, this is the club I've loved and adored my entire fucking life. How can they think like this outside the fans without asking the fans? How can they do this outside the fans? Look at this. Sky statement. In the last 24 hours, Sky Sports has passionately articulated the views of football fans on the importance of preserving and sustaining the whole football pyramid. We are completely focused on supporting our long-term football partners in the UK and in Europe, already providing fans with the best live action from the best football competitions in the world, and we have not been involved in any discussions with the pros breakaway from the European Super League. Of course they haven't, because DAZN and fucking Amazon and all of these people that have the money to do it have been in discussions. So, you know, I don't know where to go from this. Like for me, I hate what they're doing to the other clubs, but I like that they're sticking it to Sky Sports, UEFA and FIFA. I can't get over that side of it, that I'm loving that this is happening to them, but I don't want it to affect any other club teams in the league. I want them all to have a genuine shot at doing whatever they can. So if it came down to the fact that they said, we're starting the Super League, we need to be involved at some level, but we're going to do a 32 that's going to swivel down to 20 teams eventually, and but these first 15 teams have to be involved for the first 5 years, then bang, I think everybody would get involved, because then the clubs that are available to come into it would make more money than they could ever dream, by just getting a good position, which means that these clubs that finish above them, whether they win the league or whether they come second, I'm going 28 minutes over my fucking time now, and that would hide that because that's fucking spun all. I didn't even change the time on that. Alright, so we'll get rid of that. It's hard, man. Like,
you know what's sad about the whole thing here? There was a good game of football on the telly there tonight. We're still talking about this thing.
That was a great game of football.
There now, it was a great game of football. Two teams went at it. Even the boys there, they were doing the analysis. You said Gary Neville looked ill. He looks like he's livid the whole way.
Oh yeah, angry.
They didn't enjoy the game of football that was on the telly either. Like,
I just said it to him. I said the two boys look like they've aged like fucking 10 years in like 2 days.
I honestly think Gary Neville is ill. because he's gone yellow. Like he's gone.
Yeah.
If you look at him,
But that's anxiety, stress, and shock as well. You know, I've seen people wake up that have had fucking terrible fucking few days and just looked yellow, like they had jaundice or something in the street. But I don't know. It's
like you have the Carabao Cup final this weekend, and nobody's talking about it. Nobody's
Well,
talking about
that competition, like just tonight, was it like Liverpool needed a win to get into the Champions League spots? It was pointless.
there is no Champions League spots. There's none there.
Yeah.
We don't care because I'm sitting here not caring about anything that we're doing for the rest of the season because it's meaningless. Unless it's winning the league, it's
It's an
meaningless.
awful shame, like again, because that was a great game of ball there.
Meaningless.
You know?
It means jack fucking shit. It means nothing.
next
I've said that
question.
kind of going, I'm bored.
Can teams backtrack on what's after happening?
No.
I think they're in trouble. I think they're in
Yeah.
trouble if they do now. I think they've made this kind of a stand now, and a very public one. And I think even if they backtrack at this stage, you kind of said that earlier, Kev. Is it a case of Liverpool will take it to the edge and then say, "No, lads, we're happy enough where we are"? I don't think they have that option now.
I don't know.
I think
Nobody has.
the
Yeah,
amount
no,
of
nobody has.
flack, the amount of bad publicity around it, the amount of, I suppose, discussion, the amount of argument about it means that they've effectively nailed themselves to this cross and they have to go through with it.
I know it is. As I was saying it, I was thinking that myself. So, that doesn't make a difference though, because that's done and dusted. These clubs, they deserve to get points taken off of them. They deserve to be pushed down. They deserve to give the teams that were battling without this kind of elitism. I'm going to keep saying elitism because it's money behind them. So I'm going to go by I'm going to get rid of that word elitism and just turn around and say without this funding knowing it's coming behind them, without this backing knowing that it's coming behind them, give it to them teams.
League, okay, they're not going to be deducted points in the Premier League. They won't.
But they can if they but they can if they've joined without the Premier League's permission.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing about it is,
Yeah.
it's all good. The Premier League is coming out saying that now, right? You have the 14 teams now meeting tomorrow, okay? Right, 14 teams. To even get the point deduction going and the whole lot, 3/4 of those teams still have to agree, right? And the fact that there's 6, and this is the reason I say why there is 6 that have gone into the Super League, is they cannot get the 3/4 majority.
Oh no, I get that, but that's only by vote. That's only between vote for the teams, but they can take the legal angle in.
But if the 6 teams turn around and go, fine, you deduct us points, bye, right? The Premier League is gone.
Oh yeah, gone. If they lose the 6 teams that are gone there, it's gone. So they're going to have to bend over and take it up the ass pretty much, and listen to what they have to say, but within context, or take the risk and lose it all. You know, it's disgusting, and it's disgusting from the owners of these clubs. It's not the clubs. Understand that. It's not the clubs. It's the owners of these clubs. It's disgusting.
But Kev, it also shows how fragile the Premier League is.
Yeah.
How fragile. We're told it's the best league in the world. It's the best this, best that. And COVID is after coming along, and it's after destroying it. Absolutely destroying it. This Super League, as Arsene Wenger quoted, is the way of the likes of the Spanish teams, the Italian teams getting in and destroying the Premier League.
Yeah.
The Premier League, because the Premier League...
And they don't even see it coming. They've bent over and taken it up the ass. That's my point.
That's exactly...
These boys are desperate. I said we were saying it from the very start of the stream. Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid have no money. AC Milan, Inter Milan, Juventus have no money. Below those teams, there's not even point talking about because they've got less money again. So they are desperate to have this Super League. Perez is the most influential fucking prick in football, and I hate it. And he's
But you have Laporte then as well.
But he's after selling them the American ideal of NFL style football, and they've bought it hook, line, and sinker. Bought it.
If you look at Barcelona's finances, right? It's after being publicised all over the place, right? They were on the verge of bankruptcy.
Fucked.
Right? So I honestly think right? And I could be wrong. They're plowing ahead with this Super League to get themselves out of trouble, like.
Oh, that's
Because
all of them are.
I think
All of them are. I don't know why the Premier League teams are in there, because even Spurs are self-sustaining, Arsenal are self-sustaining. Even if they don't do that, they sell to buy, sell to buy. Liverpool sell to buy, right? United always put themselves in debt, but the banks always give them fucking funds anyway. Man City have endless funds. Chelsea have endless funds if they need, well, semi-endless funds now these days, right? So I don't understand why they would ever be involved in this league if it's only for the American owners that are involved with it, or the Russian owners that have the same ideals of having this super never be fucking out of money league. You know, it's just
okay, this goes more beyond the Americans by. You have to
it's
look at the likes of Man City, right? The boys in
oh
charge of Man City are not going to listen to the
lads,
Americans.
everybody in
You know,
Abu Dhabi and Dubai and all that are running the strings on half the planet. The same as they say in America with the Rothschilds, as they say in everybody else. They're all there. But
yeah.
it's still capitalism in different forms. So it's a capitalism. You know, it's a
No, I'm just going to say to you, no, we know why. What's his name? Ben Salani, is it the Saudi prince?
Mm.
Was trying to buy Newcastle.
Mhm.
They knew what was coming along
Yeah.
down the line, and his investment. That's why they were talking about, oh, maybe Mbappe.
Imagine if he did buy it. Imagine Newcastle would have been in the team before Spurs or something like that. That's what would have happened. Spurs would have been out of there and Newcastle would have been that team. Am I right or wrong, Eddie?
And again,
We like we had major investment from the 49ers the last few weeks as well.
Yeah.
Leeds. They sold. I don't know, is it 49% now is what they have, and Orta still has the majority. But they're talking about eventually the 49ers will buy us out as well.
if that happens,
So
you could go.
you would have to wonder about it, like, you know, you would have to wonder about it.
It's an American takeover of a league that's failed with the MSL. Because it has.
But could you have put? Is the reason why that didn't go through is because they actually realised that, hang on a second, we can't put Leeds into this.
Mm.
Is that a conspiracy thing? No, maybe, you know, or is it just fuck it? We'll get another team. We'll get a big.
Look at it this way, right? When was the last time you seen any major signing going to the MSL? Or the MLS? Jesus Christ, the MLS. I'm thinking Manchester Senior League. The MLS.
As in young player, a long time. Frank Lampard, maybe, was it?
Probably no. Well, is Higuain the latest one, or is it fucking Ibrahimovic? I don't know. One of the other. But I mean, that's all they've been able to do as an American sport. Beckham was supposed to put him on the map, and say that yeah, we're going to take people over there and do all of that. And then you just seen more and more owners then start to come over and kind of say, no, we need to actually go there and start investing in the Premier League. And we need to start kind of infiltrating it as small.
Their league is right. Their league is kind of based on an American model, and it's proven it doesn't work with football over there. Like football doesn't work in an American model. It doesn't work in America.
Do you remember when they used to do hockey style penalties at the start of the MLS? They used to run with the ball zigzags and do it. It does. Their format of anything doesn't work in football. So just listen to the people that are running your clubs for you. The people that you have over here. Like Peter Moore was a fantastic CEO for us. As I said to you before, he all of a sudden was saying, oh, we've got this big plans for the future. 2 weeks later, he's turned on and saying, I can't do this. I have to go. So that's our CEO. And we loved him as a CEO because he was brilliant for us. But all of a sudden, he's out the gap. And then like we're hearing more about the Super League and more about the Super League. And like I'm just thinking that he completely disagreed with it as a Liverpool fan and wanted to go. You know, so I don't know.
They were on Sky Sports earlier. They were saying a fella was on. He was talking about a leak from a board where your man didn't want to identify himself. The fella who was on a board of a club, he didn't want to identify the club, but he said the board was split in the club, in one of the clubs that's in it, and that this could be the situation in all the clubs, that the fellas who were against it feel powerless to say anything because of the influential people involved in it.
Yeah, pretty much. But that's corruption at its highest form.
It's corruption.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's in every club, in every core, in every place.
This was on Sky Sports just before I came on with you. I was looking on the phone.
it was what's his name? Kovalash, is it?
Yeah.
He's like I wouldn't be going by what Sky Sports are saying.
No, I know.
Never will listen. Yeah. But I get that there is that there. They'll create these stories. They're just a newspaper to me.
Yeah,
So I never listen to them.
it's to fire people up. Do you know?
Yeah.
It's like
I can't
you
even
see
believe
on
you said the
social
sun.
media, it's all
Should be
about-
saying the scun.
it's all about the hits and it's all about that. Like, do you know, it's look until we see the finer details to it. Like, people are going to be uproar and everything. But again, I'll go back to it. Not many people are talking about UEFA's changing of the Champions League. Nobody's talking about. So
Because they want to take that away. Yeah, they want to get away. Yeah, they want to fucking.
I just think it's going to do one of two things. It's going to either destroy domestic football, or it's going to create like a spectacle, right? Which is, I think, what they want.
The
to do.
NFL.
They want to create a spectacle. Yeah, they want to create a spectacle. The idea in theory is brilliant. Let's have the best teams competing against the best teams. But if you're doing that, you can't just negate domestic football by saying a team that's ninth is going to be in this competition and a team that's third this season is not.
It makes no sense.
And that's what it all boils down to me. If they got that together, there's no
It's
problem.
fundamentally unsound, and it's fundamentally unsound and fundamentally unfair, and it's
That's going by the rich list. That's what it is. It went by the rich list.
Well, it's gone by who the TV rights money pays for the most to watch, and that's
And
pretty
again,
much what it
like,
is.
Can you question that? Like, why is that? You know, why is that? Because we've got so that's a hypothetical question. Arsenal's fan base in Asia is massive, so they're going to sell loads of TV rights over there. We have Man United have the link with America. Man United in the Far East in Asia and stuff like that, massive. They're going to sell millions and millions of TV subscriptions there.
Just as you're talking there about Manchester United, their shares went up by something like 12-13%.
Yeah, because of all of this. Yeah,
Because
to
of
invest
this.
in, to invest in this. It'll be the same with Liverpool. It'll be the same with all of these. The stock market's going to be huge for these because I mean they're American businessmen. On the business side of things, the shares are going to go flying up because it's the team to invest in. Liverpool are sponsored by Nike, which is the biggest spenders on the fucking planet for football in anything. You know, when they have the elite club going with it, there's nobody else that they're sponsoring besides Chelsea, and that's running out. So they're investing most of their money now in fucking Liverpool. You know, there was a point in time where Chelsea and Liverpool, there was a point in time where Chelsea and Liverpool were sponsored by Adidas at the same time, and Adidas told Liverpool that whatever jersey Chelsea picked, they had to wear for the season. And that didn't sit well with Liverpool, and there was all this going on, and then Adidas ended their deal with Liverpool first and foremost, which is why Liverpool turned them down this time, which is why I enjoyed the integrity that my club had throughout all of this, from Edwards downwards. But from anything above it, I'm just disgraced right now. Like, the CEO hasn't come out and said, fuck all, this new fella that's been the new scapegoat for fucking Peter Moore leaving, you know, this new, not scapegoat, but the guy that's come out and kind of like said, I'm a yes man now for whatever the owners want. But Peter Moore's after leaving, so I think he knew this was coming.
Everything's up in the air, so
but I'm only going from my point of view with the club.
Yeah, there will be statements. You know, CEOs will come out and talk about it. The league themselves will come out and talk about it. Maybe clarify a few things.
Yeah.
But I keep coming back to it. It's the same point I'm making all the time. The fundamental thing about it is, if you're going to have a competition with the best teams in Europe competing against one another, you can't pick a team that's not the best team in Europe to compete in.
I
and
know.
to guarantee them a spot for 10 years, we can't do that. We can't do it.
Can't be happening. But that's where we go back to that point we said about fucking an hour ago there, which was if I know it's no offense to Steve and whatever, but if Arsenal and Spurs weren't involved in this deal, we would not be talking about this right now.
It would be less. You'd still, again, you might still say, lads, Liverpool
it's
are
a pile of
6th
shit.
or Liverpool are 7th or whatever it is. It's mad. It's just crazy.
If you invent this one involved in it, actually you could say the same about AC Milan and Inter Milan in their form in the last 10 years. So if they weren't involved in this, and then they said the rest of the people could qualify, then you'd say, okay, all right. You know, because these people have been involved in it
There
non-stop.
shouldn't be founding members. There shouldn't be
I
founding
know,
members,
I know.
simple as.
But somebody would get over it after 2 years and they would never be talked about again. Is the point? But we would still fucking hate it.
You're looking at the rich list, and
Yeah.
that's what it is. The rich list. Do you know? Look, Arsenal have been shit over the last couple of seasons, but again, we've still won trophies.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Domestic
We
trophies
still
at that.
got to European finals.
No, I get that, but it's still domestic trophies, and that's the problem.
They're still.
That's what they're going to look at, yeah.
But come here. Liverpool have only came back in the last 3 years. They were out of touch for a long time, like.
Yeah, it's still in the Champions League, but still
Yeah,
out
and
of touch,
that's
yeah.
But I still agree that you would have an argument that Liverpool should be in it this season.
But again,
Simple fact.
Yeah, we've had a poor
You could
season.
say
Yeah,
same.
I would say the same.
you could say the same about United as well. United's consistency.
You could.
Ferguson is gone.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah, I think this is a smash and grab from half the teams that believe they're better than what they are, and the other half of the teams that are already there, but kind of on the wayside. And I would only, and lads, agree me or don't agree me if you don't like, but as when it comes to European football, when it comes to European football, Bayern Munich and Liverpool are probably the only two elite teams in the last 3 seasons that have any way good. Real Madrid before that, so maybe they could be considered anything. But the rest of the teams have done fuck all in the Champions League for years. Years.
Klopp went after Neville. Yeah. I wish Gary Neville would be in the hot seat somewhere rather than being where the most money is. The most money in Man United. The most money in Man United, the most money in Sky.
Yeah.
So Klopp has gone back after Neville now for that.
Oh no, I did.
He's on board.
Like I seen how much that Gary Neville and the boys weighing off the I'm the superior side. Like he did that against Arsenal Fan TV a few seasons ago, and caught himself right in the fucking arse as trying to be the fucking I'm the messiah for fucking talking about good deeds. Now he wants to jump. Like, he's gone past United. He's got no affiliation with them anymore except for maybe being a supporter. But now he's a supporter of Sky because that's who pays his bobs. Right, so I'm not worried about that. I do believe he's a good pundit. I do believe Carragher's a good pundit, but let them take their opinions and fuck off out of what they don't know about if they're not involved in them, is what I would say. Because I won't listen to them. I would rather listen to somebody who's like a lawyer that's involved in the situation, or an intermediate.
Was Klopp saying that Neville is wrong in his stance against it? Is it?
No. See,
No.
I think. Klopp is turning around saying Neville is on here giving out murder, but he's also in a high-paid job with a company that does the exact same as what.
Yeah.
Do you know what's coming along?
Yeah.
And also that remark yesterday, I think, really touched up. Never walk alone or something like that. Do you know what I mean? You should never walk alone. Never using that quote. But that just happened there.
But that's a dig at Liverpool. That's to try and take the focus off United, who was one of the leading members of this. To be honest with you, him and Perez
he slated. You know, he didn't play the game, Kev.
Oh no, he tried to because he wanted to look like he was non-biased. Because Gary Neville is the king of trying to look non-biased, and that's just the way he is.
But in fair, like if that's what he was trying to do, he's good at it.
He is.
Before the game, there he was talking about being disgusted. You know, he looks disgusted.
We're all disgusted, all of us are. But you have to not make it so over dramatically that way. Because do you know why? Because it screws his bid to be the independent party to govern the Premier League. It absolutely fucking destroys it. Do you know what it does? It makes his bid look like it's fucking pittance in comparison to the money deal that Days in and BN Sports and fucking all of these people can bring in and be governed and fund a governing body from each individual body to come in and do that. Whereas they've done it on their own, trying to be like, you know, they had the right mindset in what they were doing, but they're nowhere near as powerful as what these companies can do. And that's what's pissed them off more, because they can't govern what they were like. They were pushing really hard on the Premier League to govern what was going to happen with regards to Premier League rule set, with regards corruption, with regards all this and that. But these boys can do it just by you know, they're Thanos in compared to his You know, that's who they are. You know, they're fucking. He. Okay, let's say it this way: if you're thinking of fucking Marvel, he's Thanos, and then your man the boys are fucking Iron Man at the end of fucking the whole lot of it. That you can just turn around and just say, nah, we don't give a shit. We were just watching you for ages, but bang, you're done, and that's it. He had a party that was trying to be an independent observer of the league, and everything go through him, and they control everything and all this and that. So he's had exactly the same mindset that these people have had going against UEFA, and then when he's talking about it in common sense. So I can see why he's pissed off, because no, he has no. That's just a wasted journey for him. He's probably wasted £2 million doing that, because no, it's going to be done without him anyway. Because even if UEFA and the Super League consortium get an agreement together, it's never going to include some small group of 6 people that decided they didn't like what they liked in the sport, and the Premier League will just go with the new governing body anyway. So it's just, there's a lot going behind this, man, and it's a shame, because I liked his idea of what he wanted to do, but he didn't even fucking bother doing his hair with a bit of gel tonight, and normally he's on point. He's fucking fuming, he's stressed, he's £2 million in the fucking, you know, the kiddie thinking this is going to ever pull off. He's donated half his hotels to fucking COVID relief, and he's not seen any money back from it. He's not claimed any tax relief from it or furlough from it or anything, and he's pretty much screwed himself in the bin. But I get that. But I don't question his morals on it, because his morals first day is the reasoning behind it. So I respect him for that. I respect him for being in that format. But no, it's kind of getting to the point where it's like panic station. What the fuck do I do? He's not thinking straight, to be honest with you. So it's a lot of drunken nights ahead for him, I'd say.
He's talking there now about West Ham. He's talking about West Ham being more qualified to be in it, which is the point we were making there earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. All moral standards. It's the same as what he's going to do. He's going to play the moral card the whole time, but at the end of the day, it was his morality that started his regime. But this whole thing could throw that into whack.
Yeah, look, where I think this will go is, it's simple, right? I think the letter of intent was signed to get leverage over UEFA.
Yeah.
It's gone out of control now, so the teams have to proceed. Any team that backs
Oh, it's done.
away,
It's happening. Look, it's happening. Yeah.
yeah. Then if any team backs away from it, or if they all come down off their horses, UEFA win. You're like, hey,
No, it's a massive meeting ploy, unless all the teams are invited to this one meeting by UEFA, and we do this big merger deal. It's a merger, is what they're looking for. Right? So it's an absolute merger of companies. So you're talking about you're talking about 15 different companies being merged with UEFA and having 52 to 53% of a company of UEFA with their members on the board. Simple as.
yeah. What if UEFA came up with that idea? What the Super League was doing?
It won't make a difference, because it's still run by UEFA and they won't have it as teams, because they don't want UEFA in charge.
UEFA wouldn't have done it the same way. UEFA, like you talked about the new format of the Champions League, at least there's integrity behind how you get into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's the integrity. No, absolutely. Like, it should be that first and foremost. But I think, but if we were in kind of,
we all have problems. Everyone has problems with UEFA, and everyone has problems with FIFA, and the World Cup going to Qatar was a massive problem. Like, we didn't talk about FIFA very much tonight, but I mean, the amount of destruction they left behind themselves in Brazil after the World Cup was phenomenal. Like.
They're fucking as bad as the FAI, to be honest with you.
And they do that to every country they bring a World Cup to. You look at the amount of people who died in China or in building stadiums.
Remember Brazil? Yeah, and Brazil and all them. Yeah, they're fucking
and just buried in down there somewhere. Like, so we understand that these are corrupt bodies, right? And we do want an alternative, but the alternative shouldn't have come in and said, we're going to pick Jimmy's team, Frank's team, and Johnny's team, and we're going to start the league with that.
Yeah, I think this is like an act of, it's either complete and utter greed from the owners, or it's a complete and utter saying that they've studied this for many years and they think that this is the only way to force an issue into then bringing in people afterwards. And I'm not for it whatsoever.
Again,
I still think we should have done it the old school way, which is by morals.
conspiracy hat on. This is greed dressed up as morals,
Yeah.
is what it is.
Could be.
You know, it's lads. We think UEFA and FIFA are shy. Here's a better alternative, but actually, it's my buddies are going to start with me.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like
Yeah, it's
there
when you
has
hear
to
the
be
name
a
JP Morgan in there, that's when it fucking raises red flags and kind of going, this is fucking hugely
That's
funded.
a massive.
Hugely funded. This is the end of everything that's to do with that. 2 seconds, lads. I have to go for a pee. I'll let you chat away. And then we're going to have to end this sometime. Yeah.
yeah.
You know, it's like again, we're not talking about tonight's football game.
We're not, and it was a good game of football, and it would have been a brilliant game for both teams to be talked about. Like,
You know, and
like
this is going to carry on for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And you know what?
it's ruining the season. The season's finished now, as far as fans are concerned. Like, if you're a West Ham fan, imagine being a West Ham fan tonight. You know, we're on the cusp of playing in Europe tonight as a West Ham fan, and you're saying, Jesus, lads, we could be playing in Europe next season. Or if you're a Villa fan or whatever it is that are kind of on the fringes there, like,
I think
you've
that's
no incentive. They might have, but you know what? They had a chance. Do you know what I mean? Like that could have been their big chance. This season could have been their big season. I know it's tarnished in a way, I suppose. Like, you can't see a Champions League running the same way as it ran this season, next season again. After this, like you said it there. The fact is, it has to go ahead. It has to go ahead. Now they've gone too far with it. They can't go back. If they go back, FIFA and UEFA win. If they go forward, everybody loses, as far as I can see.
I think if they go back, FIFA, UEFA, the Premier League,
Right. I'll throw one at you.
Yeah.
I just think they can't do it now.
They can't.
They have to go full steam ahead. But what they might do is they might tweak it.
Yeah.
To actually put a little bit of favoritism on them. Legally, what they're doing, but legally they can do what they are doing. You know, that's under EU law. What they're doing is not illegal.
Lads,
you know.
Lads, imagine, right? And just take this into context. There probably wouldn't have been this much hoodoo about it, and like, what the fuck would they have done? Kind of like in a situation like the pandemic situation, what would have happened if PSG was already after saying no? They said they weren't going to get involved in it and whatever like that. What happened if Bayern Munich had gone through, and they were actually in chats for that, and the last 4 teams left in the Champions League were teams that were going to leave, and UEFA had no way of just like ending it, and they forced it to be null and void? It would have destroyed the integrity more. So it would have, this new Super League thing would have probably been announced a lot sooner than this, if it hadn't been for Bayern Munich not even getting through against PSG. You know, so
even still, Kev, when you look at that, your same question formulated a different way. 3 of the 4 teams left in the Champions League don't want to be in it.
no, which means it should be given to PSG and let them fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
what are we doing? What are we contending it for the rest of the season for? You know,
No
even though what's the point of it?
no point.
I tell you no exactly. Do you remember WWE, the Montreal Screwjob? Right? You know, Bret the Hitman Hart and Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, I remember that.
That is going to happen to every English team that's left in the competition. Do you know what I mean? The teams that are in the top, those 6 teams, right? Arsenal are in the semi-finals of the Euro.
United,
Manchester United semi-final.
Chelsea.
You have the 3 boys in the other. They are going to be screwed out of it.
Oh yeah.
It's simple. They're going to be screwed out of it. Do you know? Legally, they can't be thrown out of it, right?
Aye.
There's no ground for them to be thrown out of it. All that's after being provided at the moment for this Super League is a letter of intent. Do you know?
Right.
There's nothing illegal about it, right? I was reading an article there from some reporter, and he was saying it. Legally, they can't do anything. You're hearing the boys going, they're going to be thrown out of the Champions League, and next thing, 2 minutes later, they could be thrown out of the Champions League. they won't. They'll have to
Nah.
allow to finish it, because if they don't, this thing will go to the European Union, the European courts and everything. Do you know? I honestly believe the English teams are going to get screwed out of it. Paris Saint-Germain is going to win the Champions League,
Oh yeah,
and it wouldn't surprise me if is it Roma or Villarreal will be in the final.
oh yeah,
Will be the final of the Europa League.
I think so. Yeah, I do.
Do you know, just remember they screwed Chelsea before. Do you remember that
Barcelona game was ridiculous, man. Yeah,
because they didn't want two English teams in the final that year. Do you know?
they can't stop what was going to happen anyway. Eventually, you know. Yeah, Driver was very. Oh Jesus, Driver was very vocal about that. I'm glad I'm dropping empty games. Not on carpet though. But like, I don't know, lads. It's just that, like, I'm trying to, like, we're all sitting here now and we're talking about like adverse and positives and stuff like that. And first of all, like, I think everybody, like every other fan base on the planet, needs to focus on one thing and one thing only. That these owners come out with this consortium and say that this is not how it's always going to be, or it shouldn't be like this, and it shouldn't just be that they never get relegated, or they never, like, nobody has the ability to earn their way into this competition. It needs to be as fair and just as every other competition that's gone before it, and governed right. So if it's going to be this way, and fair enough, they're going to put all this money in, and maybe it's going to be an alternative to the Champions League, then please say that somebody else can get involved in it, and not just these clubs, because half of them don't deserve it at all. You know, it's just, please say that it's going to be an open format game. People are going to, if we can get the Premier Leagues on board and the league is on board and stuff like that, that it's going to be a qualifying competition.
That's my my probably major and only issue with it.
It's mine as well, yeah.
It's started wrong. That's it. You know, I love the fact that there's an alternative in sight. I'm not against a new governing body in football. What I am against inherently, though, is starting something in such a way that you're not actually picking the teams who deserve to be there to be in it. That's it.
Yeah.
When that's what it all boils down. If they turned around tomorrow and said, actually, lads, no, these boys just signed up for it, what we're actually going to do is have the winners of every league start it.
Oh yeah,
I'm
grand.
fully on board.
Perfectly
fully on
fine.
board.
That's an elite league, because it's the elite of the elite. It's the winners of a league. They go to it. Like this season, City should be fucking off next season. I would watch it as a neutral, as a Liverpool fan, and watching City in it. I would watch it as a neutral and say that's a new elite league. Perfectly fine. Like, you got your 5 major league members, and then your other government body members that are going to come into it. You could probably make 16 teams out of it at the start, because of the, you know, you have your Dynamo Zagrebs and your things that are each of these league winners, and that's the way it should be. But then, like, because UEFA just decided that, like, you know, these elite teams, like, we were all loving it at the time as fans, but like the top 4 in the English Premier League, because that's where the most money is going into. Excuse me, don't be on it, but it's that's where the most money was going into, and then they made had 3 from Spain and this and that, and then it was just, you could see the unbalance starting, and then it came to the point where, like, oh, where was the most Yank money going into? Then where was the most oil money going into? And then yeah, it's just started out. They started out in the wrong format.
What I find interesting as well is there's not, like, we're seeing the outcry today from the UK. It's in Italy as well, but there's nothing coming from
Spain. I don't give a shit, man.
And I thought about it when you said that earlier.
Spain don't give a shit. They know they're fucked.
Yeah, they've been a 2 or 3 league team for years and years and years. Like, no one really else steps up to the plate there. You know, teams that get 1 or 2 results a season or whatever off the big crowds or whatever like that. Since Barcelona started struggling with money, grand, you know, people are starting to beat them this season, whatever. But you can see it not being so big an issue in Spain, because they're used to season 3 wise, and that's it. Like, you know,
is it the fact the government are going to get their money back from bailing out their clubs there if you
oh yeah,
there you go.
simple as.
Yeah.
That comes down to money, money, money. Simple as.
Yeah.
That's the only way
Yeah.
it is.
Listen,
Let them make
football
the.
sold its soul a long time ago.
Yeah.
Do you know?
I don't mind if they make the money off the first couple of seasons, whatever that. But this 10-year bullshit, and I don't want it to be elitist either. I still want it to be qualification. Let them make the money off it and say, well, this is the team where the teams are going to go. We're going to give them 200 million for the first couple of years. Everybody gets to qualify. Then it goes up to 250 after 5. Then it goes up to 300 after 7 or whatever like that. And then,
Or is it a case of they're actually looking to create an NFL in soccer? Is that what's happening?
if that's
they
the
want
case,
to
they can
have 15
fuck
that's
off,
it?
man. That's the most evil thing you can possibly think of happening.
But is that what they're going for? Do you know what I mean?
Like, can you imagine us sitting here and just like calling each other pricks every week because the same teams are just doing it, like, and we never get to talk to anybody else from any of it.
And that kind of comes back to the money situation as well. It's franchise.
It's all money.
Arsenal are a big franchise. Spurs are a big franchise. You know, you look at the teams who will play in it. They're all. You'll sell jerseys. You will sell stuff with a logo on it, a cup, whatever it is.
But that goes
And
back to the
that's
Yanks again.
what-
Back to the
There you
Yanks
go.
again.
there you
And
go.
and
this is
I'd
all-
say from the start, the Yanks, right? All right, just think of it this way. The Middle East is a very simple, petty race of people, right? So they would cut your hand off for stealing something, and then they would applaud you for marrying a 12-year-old. So I don't listen to what they say half the time, right? But that's the kind of mindset it is, because they only follow a rule set that was governed to them by somebody thousands of years ago, right? So that's Neanderthalic to me, right? Then you go to America, who's pretty much the same. They leave anybody say anything they want and do anything they want at any time they want, and have pretty much zero consequences unless it affects some sort of amendment that lads back in the day that would know about this time of life created according to their time of life, and yet they have to abide by it like unbelievably, because if you take that away from them, it destroys their ability to hurt other people. That's pretty much what it is, so you have to think of these two concepts and kind of think that's what their business mindset is governed from, that's what their morality is governed from, and that's what their belief system is governed from. And you put them all into a small little package, and it just becomes it's power. It's all about power.
I think again though, if we go back to the NFL argument, if that's what they're going for, right? If they're going for franchises, who was it? The Rams, right? The Rams American football team have been in 4 different states in the last 20 years, maybe.
Have they?
They were in St. Louis. They're in LA now. So what's stopping Liverpool from being Liverpool Football Club based in fucking Qatar
No.
in 10 years?
That can't happen.
No, I'm only saying.
No, I get it. I get what you're saying, and that's exactly where they're trying to go with it. I get it, totally, completely, and unbelievably, but I can't see any fan base doing that, other than what?
Not fan base. Not
But
fan base. Franchise.
Yeah,
Whoever
I
has
know.
the most money wins the team in their town.
Get it, but you know what I don't like, and I'm going to be quite honest here now. I have no respect half the time for most of the Middle Eastern or African fans that jump from club to club and club to club each week and each thing, and they're the most vocal on Facebook half the time. Huh?
I'm changing my club because we lost. That's what.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they jump, and that's what they do, because they live they could be 30-odd-year-old men, but we still live in the same village. We're all like 16-year-old boys. I'm going to follow this club this week and that club that week, and then I'm going to tell the world on the village computer. Do you know, that's just the way it works. And I don't like that, because I don't like being an asshole about it, but that's exactly what you see most of the time when you're watching a Facebook group and you see somebody's name pop up and say, oh, clap up because we just lost the game for the first time in 20 years. It's just, it's cluelessness, it's cynicalness, and I hate it. I hate that I'm thinking it, and I hate that I think, but I don't like subjecting these idiots being allowed a voice online. So yeah, it annoys me sometimes.
But the one question we got to ask there now as well is, where are these games going to be? Where are they going to be played?
Oh, home and away. So it's going to be whatever the stadiums are.
Yeah, but again, if you go to the franchise model, where's that? What you're saying? Where is it? Like
Could it be Arsenal Liverpool in Abu Dhabi?
No, it's not. It's Arsenal Liverpool in
It could be.
Oh,
the
eventually,
question is,
yeah, it could be,
Yeah.
but not now. At the model is
because
home and away.
the club outgrows the brand, the franchise
Yeah.
outgrows the town. That's what I was kind of saying earlier, where you'd move around.
I don't
It's
care.
not that the club would be.
I don't
It's
care about
that's
Liverpool.
open. Like,
I
that's
don't
an
care
option
about
there.
Liverpool Limited. I care about Liverpool FC. So
That's what I'm
if
saying.
if
Yeah.
if
Would
they
Spurs be
pulled
not
off the
wanting
name,
one?
right? Let's say the government pulled off the name and allowed Liverpool FC to go to another club that was just founded, but kept their history because they had to be because of American owners, then I would follow them 10 times fold and follow that team that's below their national league and bring them up, because that club that's gone that way is belong to some Yank owners that are not part of anything that I get, you know. So
But what I'm saying is this Super League is going to have Asian, going to have American, going to have African,
Yeah.
going to have Middle Eastern fans, right? Right?
Yeah.
They will want to see games live as well. You know,
Oh, yeah.
this is the thing too.
oh, yeah.
You look at Arsenal.
So they'll have
now,
exhibition matches.
No, you're dead right. The big thing is America here. You'll be looking at Liverpool against Real Madrid in fucking LA. I tell you.
Yeah, what's the name?
I
Stan
hate that.
Kroenke, Arsenal's owner, owns the Rams, right? And the Rams have a brand new stadium. He's going to get a game there. Do you know?
Of course he is.
Look in
He might get 2 or 3 there for the season.
Look in Vegas, Raiders, right? Brand new stadium, state of the art. You definitely know there's going to be a game there too. Then you come across to New York or whatsoever, you're going to get a game there. Do you know? Yeah, we will have. There will be games at Anfield. There will be games in the Emirates. But you're going to have a few games as well. That's going to be around the world.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
well,
And there's
if
no,
it goes
there's
to that
nothing- there's
format,
nothing
then
to
it's
tie them.
fucked in. I think maybe then
But that's a
COVID,
very real
maybe
possibility.
COVID has helped these fucking scumbags get what they
But
want,
what you
because there's
forget-
no fans in stadiums, no people to protest, no people to
But sorry,
say this can't
Yeah.
happen.
but come here, WrestleMania was on there during the weekend, and they had 25,000 people in it.
Oh yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So you can get the fans into the stadiums in America.
yeah.
You can get the fans into the stadium in Abu Dhabi, and in the Middle Eastern countries.
Yeah, but they're starting in a week and a half's time in England, so I wouldn't see why
Yeah,
you
well,
would.
Kev, if you have the European Super League of football,
Yeah.
the world, it's been sold as the world elite teams.
Yeah.
You are definitely taking that on tour, man. That's a circus.
Oh yeah.
You're taking
Oh
that
yeah.
on tour. You're going to bring that to the Oakland Raiders, or what are they, the Las Vegas Raiders now. You're going to take that to their new stadium and sell 120,000 people inside there instead of having 60, 70,000 inside.
But
that
you know what
field.
we have? Do you know what we have at the end of the day? Rugby league. It's just fucking. It's destroying my soul, because if I think that that's going to go that way, it's going to
But that's
destroy
what-
me.
But
That's a big possibility.
But hold on, the Premier League looked at doing this. The Premier League, do you remember this? The extra game for each team that will be in a different country. They're still looking to do it.
Yeah.
Don't care about that.
Yeah, yeah.
This is how the Super League is going to make its money. Do you know? And we're not even after talking about sponsors yet. Do you know,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to have McDonald's, Budweiser.
Ah,
You're going to have every major sponsorship will want to sign up to this, right? Because they know this Super League means the death of the Champions League. Heineken.
Oh, it'll
Rock,
destroy it. Yeah, it'll destroy it. Yeah, yeah.
Budweiser will want to start the action, right? But again, back to the other thing. These games are going to be played in other countries. It's not just going to be Barcelona and the whole lot. Do you know what I mean? Barcelona could be playing. You could be playing Real Madrid in Chicago. You could. You know, just what's it? They could even be playing in San Francisco. You know.
Yeah.
Where they
Because again,
All
they're a
right,
brand.
let's
It's
get
the
let's
brand.
get around that. Would it bother everybody if one of those games a year was played in these places?
no.
Kevin, it'll be more than that, but like
No, but
if this
okay.
is-
But if it's more than that, yeah. But if it was one game a year, where it's something that's like a spectacle, if it wasn't anything on the line, though, I wouldn't want it. I mean, I'm a Liverpool fan. I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to see Liverpool playing at home at Anfield that could have a full stadium at Anfield, playing away at some place that don't even know the songs, that
But
don't even
see,
sing the
Kev,
songs.
yeah,
It
but that's
fucking
all
do me
dead
head in.
with this thing, Kev. Like hypothetically.
But see, Kev, my point to that is, right, you have Arsenal fans, you have Liverpool fans, you have Man United fans, you have all these fans that are all around the world. They do deserve to see their team live as well. Some
Oh, they
people
do,
can,
and that's what pre-season friendlies are for when they come to their country.
but give them one competitive match. Do you know what I mean? The thing about it is these fans.
Do the rest
get
what the rest of us do? We get flights across. I mean, we're not victims of where we're living. Do you know? We're just, do you know, like, it cost me fucking a minimum of £650 just to go to Liverpool for 2 days. £650, and I live 35 minutes from Liverpool. You know, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It costs the flights over and back, and even at that way, the flights try to make it awkward for you so that they make the most money out of you. And then you get over there and they try and charge you at least £200 to try and stay in a place that's even anywhere close. And then they up the money like you're scavengers, you know. And when it's anyway of a good game, and then
we travel days for London, not including not including match ticket. It costs us an average of €50.
Yeah, well, no, I'll be honest with you, dude. It cost me £90 to get a match ticket, and I can get it most places. Like, I was lucky once or twice that a fella that I had a deal with going over, and he was a bit of a tout in his own way, and I hated him with touts, but he was half and half. He was like half legitimate guy, half a tout, and he gave me tickets for me and 3 of the other lads out of a group of 30 to go into the Carlsberg dugout. I was sure going to take it, and I brought another 3 lads in with me, and we on the halfway line, Chelsea 1-1 when David Luiz got that fucking fantastic free kick against us a couple of seasons ago. And like, I've been to 281 Liverpool games in my lifetime. 281. Remember now I used to live in Leeds, so I used to go across like the hour and 40 minutes on the train just to get there, or whatever. Well, it used to be 2 hours before that, and it was an hour and 40, and GNER, and then across again, just to get to see Liverpool games. I was lucky that I had a chance when I was living in Leeds playing ball that I could go over and like I could play a match in that morning and go and try and fucking leg it to Liverpool that afternoon to try and watch a game. You know, so like for me, it's the most. This thing by ownership, which I never considered ownership as being a problem. I consider them as just being a small bit of an annoyance, and a bit of a clerical thing to get, not clerical thing, but like a fucking a business thing to get through. But never in my life would I think that it would just like I would sit here and think, are they actually going to take my sport away from me? Like, can I not, like, when this is all over, can I not just jump on a flight and go to Liverpool and watch Liverpool play? Do I have to fucking, as you said there, no, this is why I'm totally against it. Do I have to go to fucking pay for Abu Dhabi, or do I have to get a flight to Boston just to watch them, feeling like it's a pre-season or something? Because them fuckers are going to go over there in the team and not think it's going to be any sort of competitive game. You can't think that any player from Liverpool that loves Liverpool Football Club as much as any of the fans does is going to go over to fucking Boston or any other place and play a game there and then think that they're going to play it competitively like it was right in Anfield. It's a joke. It's the same as the pandemic right now.
This is all exactly where we need domestic football. Right? If we still have domestic football in its current state, all of your worries there are gone.
Gone.
You know, so if we can keep domestic football as it is, then that problem of they're playing in the Super League or they're not isn't really an issue.
Nah.
The issue is if the Super League gets away with, we're going to start picking our biggest franchises, our Arsenals, our Spurs, our Liverpool, and not base it on merit. And they're going to pick these teams and say they're in it every year for the next 10 years. You have an NFL model, right? Ish, where there are no rules. Why don't we play games in Abu Dhabi? Why don't we play games in Las Vegas or whatever it is, or Los Angeles? Why wouldn't you? You know what I mean?
Steve gone.
He's gone there, yeah.
You gone, Steve? Bit of crack reacts. If the top 6 do join this league Super League, they will be disqualified from the league. Will they not? And the teams, they can't afford to do that, Tony, man. if they do that and they join, the league can't afford to disqualify them from the league or anything like that because they lose them entirely, and they lose all funding from all TV rights and stuff like that. Which is why these teams are able to pull, like, no offense, Arsenal and Spurs have jumped on this bandwagon and have just like sucked the back end balls of Man City, Liverpool, Manchester United, and Chelsea, because they're the ones that have the money, and the rest of them have just jumped on it and just said, "Oh no, we're here, lads, but we're just sucking on the back of these fucking teams' balls, one of each team in each mouth, pretty much." It's fucking disgusting, right? So, for me, I'll be absolutely heartbroken if it doesn't get replaced on the UEFA Champions League. I'm trying to think as, oh, excuse me now. I'm trying to think as optimistically as I can about a stupid fucking idea.
The
Well,
best
I can't
case
think.
scenario is that
They're not
it
allowed to
replaces
play.
Champions League. That's it.
No, it did, but those European places are gone because they don't regard UEFA as they don't regard the Champions League as the European trophy anymore. So what they're saying is that this new European Super League will take over. The honours will transfer to them in there. So all their history is going to be now the European Super League, and UEFA running the Champions League is gone, like a company taking over aggressively another company, is what they're saying. That's what they're trying to do, and it's ridiculous, to be honest with you, because no, I get it. UEFA deserve it and FIFA deserve it, in hindsight, and because they've been scummy in their approach to anything to do with football or the clubs. They've never involved the clubs. They've just told them, "We're your bosses," and that's fucking it. And the clubs have never agreed to that because they gave them the governing body stature to run it right and fairly, and they haven't. There's been a lot of corruption in FIFA and UEFA, so I think that UEFA and FIFA deserve this in the long run, but it needs to be done right. Going forward, it needs not to be elitist.
Listen, it needs to be done with all clubs involved. That's it.
No, exactly. Sorry, no, that's a bit of crack. FC is the other Leeds fan that was supposed to be on tonight, Eddie. That's Tony, and like I get what you're saying. It would, if they decide to disqualify the teams that are involved in it right now, but that's up to the Premier League. That's not really up to UEFA. UEFA can say that they're banned from the format going forward, but they would still receive the money by getting qualified for it, and then renouncing them, and then giving the places to the new teams that are going to qualify. It's all like a legality fucking nightmare for UEFA, to be honest with you, and it's kind of something that they deserve in the long run, but not in the format where no team can qualify outside these elitist teams. This is the hope. I hate using that term. I mean, even Eddie pulled me on it tonight when I say elite and elite, but it is, I should be saying elitist thinking teams. It's ridiculous. Like, I get that they've been in there the longest over a period of time, or being champions the most, or being champions a lot more than other teams, but nobody deserves a qualification over somebody that's earned it. It's never going to be something that I'll agree with, or that I'll ever support. So if this European Super League goes ahead and it is in this format without qualifications, then I'll support whatever shit Premier League team we put out, and it'll still be Liverpool Football Club, but it won't be what, you know. I won't give a shit about the rest of it. We could win that and dominate that other fucking thing, and I won't give a bollocks until they acknowledge that it is going to be like a replacement for UEFA, and it is going to include other teams and stuff like that, and then I'll support it maybe. But it's a shit fucking shithouse way to go about it, to take it away from the teams that deserve to be there. Like, West Ham could take our position this season now, and especially on the result tonight, and they deserve to fucking be there. It's ridiculous, it's elitist, and it's bullshit. I'd find out what Steve is doing. Eddie, I'm going for a pitch. Should I end this stream or?
Yeah, I gotta go anyway, mate.
Alright, man. Go on, we're going to end this stream now, lads, and
Nice one.
sure, I'll see you for Newcastle. Lads, we might come on and do another bit of this when there's more news out, even for the Newcastle game, even if it's nothing got to do with our teams that are playing. But we'll be on for this anyway, so I'll do something this weekend and I'll get the boys back in because it's a good chatting about the bands, and it's sensible thinking
bye.
outside fucking shite. Eddie, nice one, bye. I appreciate that. I'll talk to you later, dude.
All the best.
Right, lads. So, I need to. Ooh, what do I do here? I need to. Needs. And. Oh, yeah, the image quest. Okay, you're there. Okay. So, I need to go to Discord and then tap in it. So the boys are over there. So I'm kind of here. Right, lads. So, yeah, I'm going to be going on to do some sort of gaming anyway. What time is it now? Fucking 11:15. I'm getting fucking steam. Tony, what are we doing, mate? Are we playing shit? Are we watching shit? Are we doing stuff? Give a fuck, but I'm going for the piss down now, so I'm going to end the stream. I'll be in the signature chat, and we'll see how we get along after that. Right, so, yeah. Good luck, lads. It's been a great chat tonight. I appreciate all the people that came in and gave us the love. It's been a great night.